clobbering time. It's clobbering time!
Yeah. Hey. To my friends out, I assume you're out there. I'm showing zero. Just for the second week in a row, I'm showing a zero count. Thanks to StreamYards. But hello, my good friends. I'm just going to take it on faith that you're out there. Because it looks like there's some people out there in the chat.
They exist.
You exist. Maybe this could.
But they don't exist.
This could be a timey-wimey thing.
You exist, but you don't exist.
That could be it. Oh my goodness, I didn't even think of that. Yeah. Well, greetings to all of you who exist, and everyone else. The secret is to bang the rocks together, guys. Welcome. And of course,
Clobberin!
What she said. Hey, buddies. Good to see you there. Welcome to Clobbering Times, issue number. Sorry, where am I? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Writing things down and looking in the wrong direction. 543 on YouTube, 1,243 overall. Almost 14 years now, and of course Saturday night Star Trek number 111. So put that in your non-existent pipe and smoke it, but don't smoke.
Don't smoke.
No, but don't smoke.
It's not good for you.
Nah, well, so they say, but who knows? Whoever said that probably doesn't exist either. Well, good to see you, my dear friends. I'm so happy to be here with you tonight. And in spite of this bumpy start, we're going to have a lot of fun closing out season 5 of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. So, and with only 2 episodes reviewed tonight. By the way, I don't think our wonderful friend Jill will be here with us, but LT, I forgot to mention it. You are more than welcome helping to join us for the roundup later. I just totally forgot about it. I was going to bug you about it this week, so if you're busy, but you know. Anyway, J-Man's running out. J-Man, thank you for being here, buddy. Have a good one.
J-Man!
Don't forget to
Yeah.
follow J-Man. J-Man is
Follow
a
J-Man,
horror
everybody.
author. His wife writes poetry. She's an award-winning poet. J-Man has his own channel. He's on Twitter. You have to go to J-Man.
Indeedishness. Do that indeed.
J-Man.
What she said. Well, everybody, let's see what we got going on. I'm sorry, we're gonna do our shout outs in a minute. Let's see. Let's just get down to beeswax. Opening statements from my first officer, and then we will do some show notes and then shout outs, and we'll get out of here. Good.
Opening statements. Well, Captain, my captain, I love you with all my heart. You're one of my best friends in the whole wide, lonely, crazy, strange world. Thank you for having me here. I'm excited to spend time with you, as I always am, because you're just the best. And hail to the chat. I see so many great friends, such amazing voices, such brilliant minds, great Trekkies, wonderful geeks, nerds, and clobberers, all ready to tackle these episodes tonight. So I just want to say welcome to everyone, and I am so great. I feel so happy to have you here. I would also like to extend my gratitude to my Patreon subs. My Patreon subs are helping me to publish my next book. That is Sean Carter from Mars, Cardinal Sin, Shooter, Pew Pew, Larry, Tony Stark, Chris, Persia, Scuba Pete, Eric K, and Kirby, Enigmatic Drop Bear, Michael and Cassandra Beacom, Mark D with a C, Jilly Jill, and Maximum Redstone. And that's it. Let's get it on.
By the way, LT, we only have 2 episodes to review before we have everybody join us. So I know you said you only have a couple of hours. I understand that. So you be the judge. Like I say, we're going to review. We only have 2 episodes tonight rather than 4, but that's up to you, buddy. You just let me know. Holler in the chat or whatever. Let me know. So let's see here. All right. Show notes. Quick show notes here. Of course, tomorrow night, as always, on 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the great Mark D with the CR Chief Engineer has the Geekery, Sunday Night Geekery. It's always a great time over there. Should be hanging out with him. And then Monday night, Mark C Comics Talk. I'll have the great Stone Loki hanging out with me. I want to say that I had a great time hanging out with him, 24/7 Fusion Media, and Paulie today on Latino Slants channel talking DC. It was a fundraiser for our good buddy 24/7 Fusion Media, who was having some medical problems, and we got together, and a lot of people very generously helped him out. Our good friend who was having some medical issues. We want to thank everyone who did help with that. Anyway, so they will join me Monday night for another DC animation review. Justice League Crisis on Two Earths. Then 1 week from that, of course, all the regular shows throughout the week. Then 1 week from then, 1 week from this week, Monday night, I will count down my top 25 all-time favorite episodes of Justice League / Justice League Unlimited, rather, the animated series. So, let me see if we got any more friends popped in. Oh, yeah, we do have a few.
Speaking of friends, I have a request, and I must grant that request. These are the Steves I know. These are the Steves I know. These are the Steves I know. These are the Steves I know.
Well, they love it. So I'm glad you did it. Okay. They love that. Now, how do we have? I take it we had the proper number of Steves to pull out to justify. We had 3 at least, right?
Well, Thor in Vegas, when Thor in Vegas raises his mighty hammer and says, "There are 3 Steves here," which is the rule. It has to be 3 or more. I am inclined to abide his request.
No, well, that works. Three's enough. 3 is enough.
3's company.
Not 8 enough. And enough. Oh, that's right. 8 is enough. 3's company. Gotcha. All right, everybody. Well, let's do some shout outs.
I love you.
We'll start our shout outs with our wonderful wrenches. Amazing wrench fellow friends who do so much for us throughout the week. Thank you so much. The great Eric K. Whether they're here or not, they get the shout out. He is the bronze wrencher. I hope you're doing well, buddy. And of course, we hope your little puppy's doing great. We love the puppy.
Kirby! Don't forget to put cheese in the chat for Kirby.
Cheese in the chat for Kirby.
Man,
Why is the second week in a row on a
What?
Saturday night that this thing got my count is at 0? You didn't do that the other night, Thursday or Wednesday night or Monday
Yeah,
night.
but I think that they're throttling,
Well,
and
well,
it's
don't worry
not.
about it.
It shouldn't be allowed, but I mean they do it anyway. In
But
Canada, they got caught and got into big trouble.
no,
But
it's
yeah,
just a StreamYard thing problem because it's showing on YouTube.
yeah, but
I
our
have to go
numbers
to
are lower too, and I don't think our
well,
numbers are actually lower.
yeah,
So
but this shows 0 though. So it's StreamYard showing 0 just like it did last Saturday night and this Saturday night. Whereas a close on YouTube, it's showing a number.
yeah, it's weird.
Anyway, I don't know. I shouldn't even brought it up. It just pisses me off.
Yeah,
Annoying
well,
crap.
when things don't work properly,
it's
it
on, yeah.
should peeve you off, boss.
Yeah, the way it goes, huh? The great Chris Persia, the vindicated wrench of the North.
Mwah, mwah, mwah. Thank you for the show poster. I love you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, buddy. I don't know if he's here yet or around tonight, but the great D. Bud Martin, the Ridge of Iron.
Yeah, resident mathematician, resident good guy, D. Bud Martin.
Of course, the God of Wrenches, the great Lord Thoth. Shout out to you and your wonderful your first better half, the lovely Lady Thoth. Avon lives and long live the Legion, buddy. Let me know, like I said, if holler at us in the chat if you do want to hang with us by the time we get done, but if you can't, not a biggie. We understand. And there's your little puppy doggy.
Yes, that is Sir Lancethoth. That's the baby beagle, and we love him. So don't forget to give some cheese, maybe a little bit of bacon, to Sir Lancethoth.
Yep, yepper and yepperness and yeppity or yeppiness and all that.
Yep,
Let's see.
yep. Honk, 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 honk.
He had to run, but shout out to the great J-Man, my partner in crime on Earth, B, and the Wrench Without Fear. He is the man. I don't know if he's here yet or not, but the great master of the Club Money, Hungry Boy HB, is artist supreme and artist
genius
for the cover of the magnificent tome Science Fiction Tales by the greatest first officer in the fleet, R.M. Briggs.
I love you, boss.
Kal-El, buddy, Super Wrench Supreme.
Real soup.
Wielded a French Mjolnir, Thor from Vegas, Maddie's daddy, who is here tonight.
Maddie's with us right now, but
Yes,
I think Steve's going to be turning down the volume because I think it's her bedtime.
No problem.
I think it's like 8:30 where they are, so.
No problem. Anti-outsidey.
That day!
All right, let's see who else we have with us up in here for the evening.
Cajun Man's back.
Love
Cajun Man.
I don't even know who that is. All right. Let me see. Shooters here.
Pew, 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 pew.
Simply Steve.
Steve.
He already got his song. He got his song.
He did.
Classic Comics ACC.
CC.
Stuart Mitchell, you old space dog.
Dolly had braces.
Raymond Feliciano and the wonderful Sandra Feliciano. They're both here. Good to see you both.
King Dolphin TV.
In color. What? Okay. Sorry, I'm doing this and also writing names down when people pop in, folks. So sorry about being distracted sometimes. Linrod.
Lenrod.
The great Larry.
A man so nice you ought to say his name thrice. Larry, Larry, Larry! I love you, Larry.
Our good buddy JT Kirk.
JT Kirk!
Lovely Lisa.
Lisa!
Master of all that is Limerick, the great Maximum Redstream.
Maximum Limericks.
We got Jaworski pool practices popped in, and I wrote him down because we like that guy.
I know that guy.
We know that guy. Yep. Captain James T. Skywalker.
Skywalker.
Wolfie. And they call him Scuba Pete. He's the king of the Grand Beat. When he plays the maracas, he goes chick, chicky, boom, chick, chicky, boom. Sorry.
Scuba Pete! And Leslie. and their whole
Yes.
cute family.
John Rupus Shaggy.
Reagan?
Sean Carter of Mars.
Sean Carter of Mars.
Enigmatic Drop Bear. Hey.
Yay! Looking forward to your reviews tonight, sir. Hope all is well in your world. We love you.
Zathras. What's up, dude? All
Well,
right.
you know, Zathras is only here so that he can say, crap, crap, crap.
Not us only likes to say. He likes to say that Babylon 5 is better than DS9. And he didn't get no
Five's
arguments out of me. Doesn't get any arguments from me. Oh, man, our good buddy Masters. Maniac Mexico was here. Hey. All right, MMM. I hope you are doing well, my friend. It is always great to see you. Let's see here. Herc 130.
Ooby-dooby.
Ooby-dooby. All right. Key the
Pass
chow.
the tequila.
Roll that tide, key the chow.
Roll Tide.
And finally, at least so far, Mr. Angel. What is up, Chef? How are you feeling?
Chef.
I
Evening,
hope you're
Chef.
feeling. Hope you're doing well, Chefer. So look, LT, just let me know that we're about to get started with our review. So, and by the way, I want to shout out anyone who is lurking. Thank you so much. We cannot thank you enough. We really do appreciate our lurkers. And also, if you're watching on a download or a rewatch, whatever they call that, I'll never know. But thank you. We do appreciate it so much. And yeah, we're here for you just as well. So I mean, and again, you never have to tell us. We're glad you're out there. But if you ever do feel like dropping me a comment, and it doesn't matter, agree, disagree, or just tell us we're full of crap, whatever it is, you can do anything because we'll appreciate it. And we will appreciate it. And what else? Okay, so yeah, here we go. It's basically what we do here for those who are the uninitiated. I can't make it. Okay, that's cool. That's no problem, LT. Appreciate it. Not a problem.
It's
what
only
we do-
because he is underneath Sir Lancethoth. Sir Lancethoth has his big, soft, velvety ears on Lord Thoth's face and his big paws on his chest. And so now he cannot tear himself away from the loveliness that is a pupperoni.
You got to rub it in that some of us can't have a puppy.
Sorry, boss.
Oh, my God. I wasn't bummed out enough. So, for those who did not know, what we do here, of course, on Saturday Night Star Trek, and have, in point of fact, on Saturday Night Star Trek, since January of 2021, we have decided to embark upon the extraordinary mission of, and Rob Altus, good to see you, buddy.
Rob, so good to see you, sir. I'm just taking a sip of tea. Good to see you, Rob Altus. Welcome.
The extraordinary mission of reviewing all of Star Trek, and that means only real Star Trek, 1966 through 2005, all 735 segments as determined by our wonderful first officer. Hence the 735 Club. And as such, we have now reviewed the original series, the animated series, the original crew films, Star Trek The Next Generation, and now, tonight, we'll be finishing up the last two episodes. You usually do 4 episodes a week unless it's an end of a season. The last 2 episodes of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Hello there, Grimdark.
Grimdark, welcome.
And so,
yeah,
basically, that's
it's been a long road.
For getting from, I'm not doing it. So,
getting from there to here?
Why? Save it for Why, God, why? Where I don't know where I was. You know, I have no attention span.
You were explaining that we got through TOS, we got through TAS, we got through TNG. Here we are in the 5th season of DS9. We normally do 4 episodes, but tonight we're doing 2 because we're capping off the season.
And our reference for information for this series is, of course, the Star Trek Deep Space Nine companion. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn it over to our very capable first officer. She will take the con for a minute and tell you all what we're doing and how we're doing it, and then we will proceed to the beeswax at hand and review our 2 remaining episodes of season 5. So, without further whatever they call it, number 1, take the calm.
Thanks, Pause. You know, if you're listening to us as though we're an old time radio hour or a radio show, the boss put up an image of a book. It's the front cover of Star Trek Deep Space Nine Companion. It's written by Terry J. Erdman. And
Hey, puppies! That's okay. Sounds like a puppy hostage exchange going on. Everybody, you're good. She'll handle that business, and as soon as she does, we'll get back on it. One for time drugs being glamorized and fade to the other side. I was just reading a trap there. So
okay, so hopefully the barking has ceased. Sorry, everyone, my husband just came home. So yeah, so there's this image of this book.
Clobber on, clobber.
Sorry, everyone.
Okay.
It's a little bit of mayhem around here. So we've got this image of the book, and there's a reason for that. Around here on this show, you know, for as long as Clobby and I have been doing it, we've always wanted to give you the real information. And unfortunately, because of user-generated places to get information, and this huge influx of filth fans, a lot of the stuff that you're getting from Memory Alpha is either polluted or it's incorrect. IMDb is a positive cesspool of misinformation. Most of it is incorrect most of the time. So if you're looking for information on DS9, it's good to go to the original source material and get the facts. And, Paula M. Block is a great author. She is a prolific Star Trek author. And the greatest thing about Paula, the reason why I've identified her over all other authors who speak about Star Trek, is that she only uses original source material. So she goes directly to these producers, to these actors, to these directors, to these writers, and she gets information from them. And she is terrific. She's not riding primary chair, though, on this book. Her husband, Terry J. Erdman, is. So we're not going to be reading from this book like we have in the past. We always read Paula's stuff because Paula is quick. She gets right to the point, gets the job done. Unfortunately, after reviewing Terry J. Erdman's material, we soon realized that Terry can go on for like, an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, like 15 pages, telling you about the summary. So while this is a great way to get information, it just doesn't work for the podcast. It doesn't work for the show. So we're going to have to, unfortunately, read the summaries from Wikipedia. If they're wrong, worry not, fear not, we will correct them. But if you are looking for information on DS9 and you want to make sure that it's real and it's true, please buy Star Trek Deep Space Nine Companion. Do not go to IMDb and fill your head up with a bunch of BS, or go to Memory Alpha, which is now polluted with the poopy diapers known as the filth. And so, that explains the book, and I think that's about it. What do you think, Bass?
We're ready. Let's go ahead and get this knocked out. All right. So our first episode of the evening is in the cards.
It is in the cards. In the cards is season 5, episode 25. If you're scratching your head, this is an international show, and what you have in the cards for is not number 25. Fear not. That's normal. Just know that we are talking about production code 525. This first aired on June 9th, 1997. And as promised, I'm going to be reading from Wikipedia. Sometimes it really sucks. And I also don't pre-read. So this is extemporaneous, which just means it's a cold read. I haven't pre-read it. And since I'm saying that, it's a great time for me to remind everyone that this show is 100% organic. We don't sit around talking with one another about what we're going to grade certain shows. We don't go to all of these different information sources and prepare what we want to say. Clobby and I both have liked Star Trek and have watched Star Trek for over 45 years. And so, and we are actual friends in real life. So this is totally organic. We just come here, we talk about about it with you folks, and then we hope that you'll join in this marvelous conversation to discuss these episodes. So nothing fake here. Let's discover it together, shall we? We will boldly go where few people have gone before. The seeming inevitability of war with the Dominion has Deep Space Nine's command staff depressed, especially Captain Sisko. His son Jake learns that a 1951 Willie Mays rookie card will be up for sale at an upcoming auction and decides to buy it as a gift to cheer up his baseball-loving father. Jake enlists Nog's help and funds to acquire the antique. The oddball Dr. Elias Geiger buys the lot that includes the card. Geiger offers to give the card to Jake in exchange for a strange assortment of equipment, material to construct a cellular regeneration and entertainment chamber, which Geiger believes will grant immortality. Privately, the boys decide the man is crazy, but agree to his offer and obtain the required materials by doing various odd jobs for the station's senior officers, including Chief O'Brien, Dr. Bashir, Major Kira, and Lieutenant Commander Worf. To keep Jake's gift a surprise, they do not reveal the reason why they want these items. Meanwhile, Bajoran spiritual leader Kai Wynn is considering a proposed non-aggression pact between Bajor and the Dominion. She is torn, not wishing to align Bajor with the Dominion, but not trusting the Federation to make Bajor's defense a priority in the event of war. Captain Sisko recommends that Wynn stall for a time before committing herself to a decision. The Dominion negotiator, Wei Yun, has guest quarters above Geiger's and is wary of the odd noises emanating from downstairs. Returning to Geiger's quarters to deliver the requested equipment, Jake and Nog find the room empty with no sign of Geiger. Jake confronts Wynn and accuses her of kidnapping the doctor, earning a reprimand from Captain Sisko. Jake and Nog are unexpectedly beamed aboard Wei Yun's ship. Wei Yun, aware that the Utes have been in contact with Geiger and the entirety of the station's senior staff, suspects they are up to something. Jake explains the scheme to obtain the card, but Wei Yun seems incredulous. So Jake concocts a story that Willie Mays is a time-traveling saboteur he and Nog are investigating. Wei Yun believes Jake's first story, deciding it was all innocent coincidence after all, and sends the boys away with the card. Captain Sisko reflects on how his crew's moods have improved over a montage illustrating how Jake and Nog's trades have helped them. The montage concludes with the captain hugging his son upon receiving the card. So now that I'm done reading from Wikipedia, the user-generated encyclopedia, I would like to turn it over to the boss. Captain, my captain, mon capitaine, please tell me what you thought of the kids' adventure, the more comedy, the in the cards.
First, I would like to thank Eric K for the $2 super chat. Appreciate you. Thank you, sir. He says, "Hey, now 100% orgasmic show, organic. Darn." Well, either way, but thank you for that. Appreciate you, Eric.
In my mind right now is Kirby absolutely mauling Eric on the Chesterfield. That's what Kirby does during our show.
They don't call him Chesterfield.
Mauls Eric.
This is America. No one says Chesterfield. Stop it.
Oh yeah, that's right. What do you say again?
Couch.
Oh, that sounds like
it's
something that happens to you when you sleep with.
Well, they do say sofa. Some weirdos say sofa, maybe, but it's a damn couch.
So at least sofa doesn't sound like an affliction that requires antibiotics. Hey, Clobby, what's wrong with you? I have couch. You got a couch. Oh no, Clobby! Clobby, you go to the doctor. You have couch.
No, it's just I don't know. Works for me, but I got you. Davenport. Scuba Pete. What the hell's wrong with you, Davenport? Yes, the Super DS9 Super Stuns indeed. It's called a Davenport? Okay. All right, everyone. I know I should not, if I had kept my mouth shut.
Yep.
We wouldn't have to have an argument about sitting things to sit on. settee. Yeah, that's true, Larry.
And
I've
don't
heard
worry,
that one.
everyone. I'm going to take Clobby to the doctor. This bout of couch will not get him down. We will cure him of
I've,
couch.
I can only sit. I only sleep. I sleep on a couch. So that's and I mean sitting up. I can't even lay on the damn thing. That's the only way I can sleep anymore. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Gotta get you a new
so
chair.
that won't do it. So anyway, yeah. That's right. That episode. Yeah. All right. Look, it was cute enough, but here's the problem, folks. And this is becoming a running criticism from me about this show. It A cute episode once in a while is fine, but when the whole show is just like filler, and like I said, it seems every week I go, there are about 3 episodes of the original series that are cute, fun, and the rest are Star Trek stories about the characters, science fiction, and all this other kind of stuff. Hell, even crappy episodes of TNG that, or at least being serious, are preferable to me than this kind of crap all the time. Again, I just don't really care about Jake and Nog that much. I don't hate him. I like the sentiment of them wanting to help him, wanting to make his daddy happy. I really do. It was cute and all. Of course, Jeffrey Combs, Whale's always entertaining. And I got to admit, I got kind of a smile when Jake came up with the whole stupid story about Willie Mae. That was kind of funny. But I'm really, I can get funny anywhere else. You can get funny from all kinds of other shows. This show's job is not to make me laugh. At least it shouldn't be. And you could make me laugh in a serious episode with the right kind of humor, counterbalanced by science fiction and good storytelling stuff. And again, it's filler. So I don't have really a serious reaction to the episode, nor am I well disposed towards it. It's just like, all right, we're trying to end this season, but here's a couple more minutes that we have to fill up for you guys. And if you like, I like the characters as much as many of you do, but I just don't. I don't know. It's just, come on, get it over with. At least next year they're gonna focus more. This season, well, we'll talk about the season entire after we get through with the 2 episodes. So just go ahead with your notes. Number 1, I got nothing. I'm like this episode itself. I'm like this episode itself. I have no purpose and no point to anything.
Yeah, I agree, boss. The argument, if you're wondering about what the boss means about notes, like I said earlier, the boss and I have been watching Star Trek for many decades. And so when I was thinking about what I could add to the show, I take notes and I try and put things into my notes that are commentary from me as a communications and technology scholar, and then also as a Star Trek fan, right? So this is just like the stuff that's running through my head while I'm watching the episodes, and I actually write them down like they're actual notes on a piece of paper with a pencil. So here they are. The argument with Jake and Nog is yet another incident in a long line of dialogue criticisms made by producers and screenwriters who thought Gene Roddenberry's show concept was boring and impossible. Some even admitted to mocking Gene Roddenberry's concept in the episodes they wrote. And so here we have them broaching. Obviously, the teleplay is by Ronald D. Moore, who has said that he thought that it was a silly idea that they didn't have money. But herein they make fools out of themselves because Jake and Nog have a history of scheming for money. Self-sealing stem bolts turn into real estate on another planet. So pretending like they need to discuss Jake's relationship with money is dumb. So if you're going to go after Gene Roddenberry, and they have admitted throughout the DS9 text that they were going after Gene Roddenberry's ideas, finding them quaint or silly or unbelievable, it might be pertinent not to make a complete ASS out of yourself in the process. Because if you're going to turn hard science fiction that is supposed to be hopeful and involve futurism, and you want to turn it into comedy, and then at the same time you want to mock the creator of the show, maybe you should make sure that you consult your continuity. A grown man and a grown woman fighting over a teddy bear. This is the biggest amount of cringe I've felt in a long time. It's weird. I don't like it. I rewatch Star Trek
Yes.
every year starting on January 1st. I have to say, I don't like this part at all. I think it's really odd.
It was so dumb.
It's way beyond Peter Pan. Like, you're getting into some things that, as a scholar, I would probably start looking them up to see, you know, if maybe you need blow dart level meds. It's weird. It's weird. Anyway, Kai Wynn says to Cisco, this time you, oh no, Cisco says to Kai Wynn, sorry, this time you have to trust me. I'm wondering why he says this to her, because the last time Wynn and Cisco were together, they were best of buds, with Cisco risking his life for prophecy. So my big
Right.
thing that I was angry with Kai Wynn about is that she's helping to kill people like Bareil, and then she nearly helped kill Cisco. And the whole time Cisco was like, you know, I just need to speak with Kai Wynn. And so they were joined at the hip. And here he is choosing to die over his duty to Starfleet, and even taking care of his son. And of course, his girlfriend, who is, you know, currently not anywhere to be found, MIA. Anyway, so I think it's weird that they said that. Once again, continuity, where instead of writing the teleplay, maybe this producer, Ronald D. Moore, should have put himself in the trenches and started looking at the veracity of the science, injecting some science, at least making the science the trappings, and watching that continuity. With a Dominion presence at the docks and on board, being welcomed on board, there is no way Wei-Yun could beam 2 kids out of Ops, which is in essence the bridge of
Yes.
Terok Nor Deep Space Nine, without anyone noticing.
That was so ridiculous.
It's dumb. It's stupid. And anyone who watches DS9, even if you're like a drama person and you're not into science fiction, you're not into the original Star Trek, you just like this drama and this sort of space opera stuff, even from that perspective, you're like, what? Anyway, the kids made everyone smile. And then I wrote underneath, barf, with 2 lines underneath it and an exclamation mark. And that's all I have to say about this episode.
People, you guys are getting spoiled by the raspberries, aren't you? It's just a love, man.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's just, again, I think you can wear something out when your show, you know, people like a break in monotony. And so sometimes in a show that's relatively intense, that's supposed to be very intense, once in a while throws in a light thing here and there, or a light episode. You appreciate it a little bit. The B5 did it a couple of times where they had some lighter episodes, stuff like that. But when you do it every other freaking week, it's just, it gets old. It gets old. And yeah, so I'm sorry. Anyway, what the hell? Let's get this one. Let's just burn this one up real quick.
Yeah, and you know, and I don't want to offend anyone, and I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, but you also have to understand where I'm coming from as a viewer. Not only am I an original Star Trek fan, but I'm a massive fan of Gene Roddenberry. And I mean everything that Gene Roddenberry stood for, his philosophy, his take on humanism, his hope for humanity, his belief in human beings, his love for mankind. The fact that is a beautiful little pretend universe that inspires astrophysicists and inventors and people at NASA, and you know, it's a very, very special, beautiful thing. It doesn't have to be entirely realistic. It can be an aspiration. So, you know, when you start down that road, and this show has done it, and then in the text, they have people on record admitting that they were doing it, finding opportunities to make fun of Gene Roddenberry's ideas and to make them seem silly, antiquated, or naive, or, you know, just plain ridiculous. I get offended. And so, you know, after that, I shut off. It's just like, okay, well, so if you were so great, if you are such an awesome writer, and you are just, you know, your poop don't stink, you are incredible, you're a genius, then why do you have to use his name and his show in order to publish your stuff? Go publish your own stuff. Don't like it? Go publish your own crap. but don't publish stuff under my guy's name, using my guy's fame, and then find ways of making fun of him because you have your own ideas.
You know, and Shooter, I like what you said there, because I'm like that too. I did not know a lot of X-Files. I didn't watch a lot of it, but I saw some friends show me here and there. And yes, some of the funny ones are really funny. And they are funny because the show's not supposed to be funny. So once in a while, it had some kind of crazy off the wall episode. It worked. But DS9 seems, and look, we were pretty brutal to TNG, and TNG didn't do this crap anywhere near as much as almost never, really. I mean, TNG didn't do, it was a handful of lighter episodes, but didn't do this like every other week, which just feels like, I know it's not every other week, but it feels like it. And so, yes, a serious show that has a lighthearted one here and there is one thing, and I'm all for it if it's funny and if it's entertaining. But this is just like another goof off episode. So I'm tired of it.
And remember back when we were covering TOS, I believe it was Paula M. Block who was talking about how Gene really enjoyed banter humor. So
Right.
he really liked his episodes peppered in cerebral discourses. So you would have this, these little ping pong matches between the Holy Trinity,
Exactly.
and it turned out beautifully. And I believe it was Paula M. Block in her text where she described his feeling about making whole episodes dedicated to things like Halloween, like the Cat's Paw, and things that are like dedicated to comedy entirely. That he was opposed to that, if I'm remembering correctly. I mean, I've read a lot of Paula M. Block stuff,
Right.
but I'm pretty sure that's what was said. Certainly not verbatim, but yeah, it's okay for humor to be cerebral too. We're science fiction people. We can take it.
That's why, Data was funny a lot of the time, and yet even an episode that's not there to be funny, but yet you get bits and pieces of his characterization of not understanding things, and you could have an episode that's really not necessarily a lighthearted episode, but instances and moments and bits where Data is really funny because he's not supposed to be, because he's not trying to be funny, and they're doing it through dialogue and characterization. This is just, let's just write a sitcom episode. What the hell?
Yeah, and it is a situation comedy, right? And so, and this gets back into why I feel that a lot of these episodes fail, and it's because of the conflation of genre. And I think that when you call someone and you're like, "Hey, here, kitty, 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 kitty," cats come. But if you're only serving dog food, the cats will leave. And if you're conflating genre all the time, and every episode has to be everything, it has to be mystery and suspense and romantic and comedic and all of these things, and fantasy and science, it loses its cohesion. It loses its here, kitty, 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 dog food.
So what is your rating, of In the Car?
It's a D for me, boss. It's a D because of the Roddenberry stuff. Don't mess with my guy. Don't mess with my guy.
Yeah, I'm gonna go C- because you have to really piss me off to get to the D's or lower, but I'm not far from you. It's just a kind of a waste. Maybe it's a W for a waste. But all right, everyone. So here's what we're gonna do now. I will ask our good friends in the chat, please, give us any rating and any words you may have for the episode In the Cards. And while you're doing that, number one, we'll store those, and I will bring us some extraordinary Max Redstone entertainment. How about that? Let's go for it.
Sounds good to me, boss. I'm going to go on mute so everyone doesn't have to hear click, 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 click.
Make it so. All righty. Here we go. Wait a minute. Let me clear up properly here. All right. Okay. Hey, Pleasant Valley Picker. Good to see you, dude. Welcome. I didn't see you pop in there. Maybe you just popped in. So, all right. Let me get some fire up the. Hey, Cavatino. Good to see you. See here. All right. Max Redstone Entertainment, folks. Here we go. In the cards by the great Max Redstone. Him. Captain Cisco is feeling some doom. Jake and Nog into action. They zoom. Their plan almost comes to ruin when they're kidnapped by Wayoon. Wayoon. Okay, their plan almost comes to ruin when kidnapped by Wayoon. There you go. Willie Mays, indeed, is not a time-traveling goon. I'm going to do that over again because I was kind of thrown off by some of the rhyming bits there. My fault. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit that one more time for the great, because his work always deserves the best of care, and I mangle it too often. In the cards by Max Redstone. Captain Cisco is feeling some doom. Jake and Nog into action they zoom. Their plan almost comes to ruin. They're kidnapped by Wayoon. Willie Mays, indeed, is not a time-traveling goon. Nice stuff, sir. Hey, your Muslim uncle. What is up? Good to see you. Catatino Cavalman's Jay. Good to see you.
Boss man, I just
yes.
wanted to let you know, because you're probably going to the folder that I'm creating for you right now with everyone's comments, but you need to know that our wonderful friend LT is
good night, buddy.
taking Sir Lancethoth and Lady Thoth and calling it a day.
Good night, buddy. LT,
good night, sweetheart.
Avon lives, long lives the Legion, buddy. Okay, let's see here. All right. What we got up in here? All right. Mr. Angel says Z minus. Is this even DS9? Nope. This sitcom is erased of my memory. Thank the gods. I'm going to cry in a corner. I remember it. I'm going now. I remember it. Now I remember it. Oh, I got you. Sorry about that. I'm going to cry in a corner now. I remember it. In voice of Simpsons comic seller. Worst episode of DS9 ever. Worst DS9 episode ever.
What a great review.
Wow. Thank you, Mr. Angel. Sorry I messed it up there. Zathras says D minus. 2 weeks of crap. Oh, God, why aren't we reviewing Babylon 5? You know, we may switch to... How about if we just switch to it? Oh, I'm just kidding.
B5.
Pleasant Valley Picker says, C minus. Sigh. Yet another meh episode. Enough said. I hear you up in
Boss, our friend SP4H has just walked through the door.
SP4H. Welcome.
I'm back, Larry. I didn't go anywhere, honey. I'm here.
Welcome. Let's see here. Wolfie says, rating B minus. Love that baseball cards from Earth are wildly known collectible in the Trek universe. Yes. What a strange episode. I do like it, but what an odd premise. Nah, I hear you. What a kind of a dull premise to me in some ways. But Lisa says a gift. It says a gift. D. Jake Nog send us down the rabbit hole acquiring a gift. Turns out to be a gift for everyone involved in their scheme. Gift to me, no more Jake Nog adventures. Baseball cards are cool. I would be interested to know. By the way, our buddy Michael Beacom he contacted me, couldn't make it tonight. He had something that came down, so he hasn't read didn't send anything. He couldn't send any reviews. However, I would be interested to know from him if you hear this later. This reminds me suspiciously of in a tone of a MASH episode with Hawkeye and Trapper. One of them needed boots, so they went around doing all these different things for different people, and to get Hawkeye a new pair of boots.
Which came first?
Well, this was decades before that.
Pardon?
This was decades before that. Deep Space
Nine.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
The MASH one, yeah. So I mean, it almost says. I'm not saying they ripped it or anything. What did you put something up on the?
No, it's just the chat's acting weird. Don't worry about it, boss.
Gotcha. RM Feliciano Raymond says C minus filler sigh.
When did MASH come out?
The show was 1972 or 3.
Wow, I'm old.
The movie was 1970. So yeah, long ago. All right.
And then, of course, we watched those reruns forever, which is why I can't. Yeah, and then you don't remember what year it was, right? But obviously MASH would have come long before this. Very interesting. And I love that, boss. That is very, very cool.
Did I finish Lisa's? I can't remember now.
Yes, you
involved in their
did.
team gift Jake and Nog Adventures baseball cards are cool. Gotcha. Okay, I just want to make sure because I already forgot. Shooter says C plus. I know it's another Jake and Nog story akin to those in season 1 and 2, and there isn't much realistic sci-fi, but I like it as a warm-hearted adventure before the eve of war. And I understand what you're coming from, Shooter. I'm just saying, if they didn't do it all the time, then I'd cut them a lot more slack, to be honest. And they've run out of slack with me for the kind of stuff because they do it too much.
Well, Shooter just put up in the chat before you go any further to stay right where you are. Don't move anything on the screen. But Shooter just said in the chat, well, if you're going to rip off another show, rip off the best, MASH. Shooter, I love this kind of stuff. Like I took comparative literature in university, and I love it when somebody does something like this. Like this is the good stuff. This is why you don't need the stupid trivia from IMDb and the poopy diaper stuff from Memory Alpha. I love that the boss just said that because that's the good stuff right there.
It's just a hunch. I don't know if it's true. It felt like it,
so cool. Very cool.
It felt like I mean, it's probably even not. They might, but I'm sure those guys have probably seen that episode. Who wasn't watching MASH? I mean,
yeah, like everyone on the whole planet, right?
Oh, such a great show. The first three seasons are some of the best TV ever made. After that, I had some issues with it when it stopped being a comedy. But yeah, I love the first 3 seasons of MASH.
When Frank Burns left the show, it wasn't as good anymore.
Yep. And for me, when Trapper left, it hurt it because you love Trapper and Henry. But anyway, still.
Simply Steve says 1972 to 1983. Right. Simply Steve,
that's right.
Can you, unbelievable, man. Like just when Clobby said that, my mind was reeling. I was thinking, what year did that come out? And it's so obvious that MASH came before, but MASH was omnipresent in our lives, especially in syndication. I mean, even here in Canada. Anyways, that is such a wonderful insight because I remember that episode the boss is talking about, and they must have been inspired by it. So so cool, so cool. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry, boss.
I don't know, and maybe it'll be mentioned in the book. I don't know. Shooter, did I get? Now totally lost.
No, you have to read this one. You have to read this one.
No, did I read his first one? Because I've already unstarted.
Yes, so you're on 2 of 5.
All right. The idea of morale being low and the younger generation working to improve it works well, and the pursuit of the legendary baseball card reminds me of those kids' movies of similar plot lines. Still, I think that Dr. Geiger swindled the boys with all that equipment. The boys confronting Kai Wynn was hilarious, and I love how the interaction is left to your imagination. Wayun intimidating the boys before revealing he has no ill intent fits the character well. I should mention the Dominion-Bajoran non-aggression treaty set up for the next episode. By the way, it never can be said enough, Shooter. Jeffrey Combs, enough said. He's always great. I think I'm beginning to believe that the soulless minions of orthodoxy are real, and that this episode of DS9 was an early warning of their existence. Some of that was funny.
And that's why he's Shooter, because he's always on target. Pew,
that's right. Nice. Nicely done. Okay, dokalishness. Here we go. The great Chris Persia says, I'm sorry, cellular entertainment. The concept of entertaining your cells at the atomic level to prevent boredom as a cure of dying is not science fiction. It's science BS. Of course, the guy was nuts. So, I mean, it's as a nut job goes, it was kind of funny. I did kind of sort of laugh at it, but it's still a stupid episode. Coupled with Bashir and Lita's obsession over Raggedy Teddy Bear, similarly makes no sense. Deep sigh. This is not Star Trek. Absolutely, Chris. The teddy bear thing was, I mean, that, by the way, another reason I'm thinking of that MASH episode. Remember, there was Radar's teddy bear.
Radar's teddy bear, yeah. And I just want to say before we go any further that Chris Persia, I know sometimes you are busy. I know you have lots going on. You work, and I mean, you wrench for all these big shows. But I do have to tell you that I really appreciate when you participate in this show and you add your voice here. You know, a lot of people like different genres of entertainment in reading and in television, but I do have to tell you that I thoroughly enjoy when you talk about your love for science fiction and how things don't fit to it. Like I really love it. Eric does it as well, and I just had to take a few seconds to say to you how much I appreciate when you are here and you're like, okay, I have something I want to say. I just want you to know that, and I really value it. I love it very much. So thank you for that. It's great to hear from a true science fiction fan about what their impressions are.
You're Muslim uncle. Sorry about that, but I glanced at it before, and then when I got on track, I just saw it fell back into the numbers. So it's my bad, buddy. I hope you're still here. Thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat, my friend. He says, "Hail Clobbering Times, all officers and chat. Just told my mom's friend about this show. Happy Ramadan present from us." Oh, well, thank you for that.
Oh,
And
that's
thank you for that
very
super
kind.
chat. Happy Ramadan to you, my friend. And we really appreciate it. I hope you and your family are doing well, buddy. Thank you so much. Lord, LT had to run, but he gave it a D. There were a lot of D's this season. Boy,
There were. I agree.
Yeah. Boy, howdy. JG Kirk says D plus. The card wasn't scored, so I'd never pay 5 bars of gold pressed latinum for it. Why can't they just replicate the baseball card? Worf isn't trustworthy enough to keep a secret?
You know, I haven't fallen down the rabbit hole of DS9 enough that I've ever investigated the idea of bars of latinum and strips of latinum. But I have heard many people say that that the currency they were discussing during the auction was incorrect. But like I said, I can't speak to that because I've never fallen down the rabbit hole where I wanted to understand the difference between bars and strips of latinum.
Indeedishness. Kai Nurse Ratchet thinks she can go toe-to-toe in political intrigue versus the Dominion. Oh, boy. Don't we just love her?
Yeah, Shooter, strips or bars, apparently in the bidding, that it would appear that the bid was less than the previous bid. But like I said, I can't say that that's right or wrong because I've never fallen down that rabbit hole. It's just something I wanted to mention because he mentioned the currency.
Well, rabbit holes are poopy anyway.
They are.
Eric K says D. I did not think this was the finest Trek. Hard to offer. I did not think this is. I think he means had to offer. Do the writers even watch past episodes? Not much on this show, apparently. Jake and Nog have plenty of money. I remember some self-sealing stem bolts.
Yes.
That's the only. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't know. You know, just to not to go. I don't want to get us into another rabbit hole for God's sake. But I will say, when it comes to all this stuff about the money arguments and no money, yes money, they don't have money, all this crap. That's just to avoid any story that has to do with money, and then you're fine. Mm-hmm. You don't even have to get into the argument. They once in a while they've mentioned it in Real Trek, but for the most part, like the original series, they don't really don't even go there.
I also don't have to know the nature of the Guardian of Forever. It's when you when you walk right up to it and you start mucking around with it and trying to make fun of it.
Yeah. No, you're right. I don't need it. And they call him Scuba. Pete says, "See, this episode taught me that you should not count on a Geiger." Oh, God. Oh, man. All right, somebody give that.
Oh, Scuba.
What did you? You didn't. You did not just do that.
He did. I mean, it's
Scuba.
He's got the best dad jokes.
Sorry, Scuba. Dude.
Your agonizer, please.
Wow. I'm ashamed of you. I love it. That's very good. Why in the same hell couldn't we have had 2 different stories going on in this episode? At least try to balance.
Yeah.
Try to balance the boys versus Sirius. Sorry, I'm getting text bombed by a friend of mine. Jesus Christ. Oh, man. Oh, dude, are you kidding me with the texts?
Oh, look at what Chris just did. Of course, Chris, who's like
At least try to balance
such
the
a
voice
pro.
versus serious.
Yeah, Chris,
What?
that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, if you go back and you listen to the auction, I believe that an underbid happens, not a competitive bid. It's actually an underbid. I think they get the currency wrong, but I'm not sure. This is speculation. And Mark D with a C's here.
Who?
Mark D with a C.
Never heard of him. I don't know who that is. Probably some reprobate. Lisa said, can't a replicator make baseball? Yeah, I'm sure it could, but it could, but that'd be fake. That would be cheating. That would be. I'm surprised at you, Lisa. Steven, aka Kal-El, says B-. Well, sorry, having trouble with mine. All right. Sorry. This episode was entertaining enough and had some humorous moments, but the premise and Jake's role in particular keeps it from getting a higher rating. On the surface, Jake just wants to lift his father's spirits with a thoughtful gift. And through a series of mishaps, he and Nog end up in trouble before finally achieving his goal. However, Jake is incredibly manipulative. Nog, when he guilt trips into helping him on his quest. However, measure with Nog. Okay, sorry. However, I did enjoy their discussion over money and Nog's response to Jake regarding it was perfect. It was perfect. Also, Jake's willingness to lie and possibly jeopardize Nog's career in Starfleet just to preserve the element of surprise just shows how selfish the character can be. A real friend would have come clean right then and there. That's a very good point. By the way, that is a very important point also. Where to show, which just gives us an example of these crappy writers are willing to just turn their characters to crap for a cheap joke by ruining their character. It's called characterization grape.
Cisco used a biogenic weapon. More on
exactly.
that later.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, they did it to Cisco. Yep. They'll do it to Jake. These people are jerks with their characters. Dr. Geiger certainly served his purpose as a catalyst to the whole series of events. Nothing more. The only reason why this episode didn't get a lower rating is because of Jeffrey Combs' superb. He is superb. Jeffrey Combs' superb performance as Wayoon, although it doesn't justify raising its rating any higher, it does prevent it from being rated lower. Overall, a somewhat enjoyable and humorous episode of the series. Thank you so much there, Kal-El. As always, well done, sir. Simply Steve says D-, raspberry 1950s pulp sports card surviving to the 23rd century. Really? Yeah, it must have been kept in a status field or something. The Jake and Nog show again, genius. It was nice. It was a nice gesture by Jake, but a bat would have been better to knock myself out with. Yes, sir. Well.
Oh God, I love Steve. That's so funny.
Well, that is for sure. Yes, indeed, ishness.
Mr. Angel just made a point in the chat that I really love, and I think this is what Gene Roddenberry was anticipating. This is exactly my thought. It can go one way or the other, which is why you don't open up that can of worms. Mr. Angel says counterfeiting must be omnipresent with replicators in the Star Trek universe. This is what I mean. This is why Gene didn't want to get into that, and why he wanted to leave it like a lacuna in writing, like leave that part of the story out and leave it up to your imagination how we got to the point where money didn't matter. So Mr. Angel, this is probably one of the best comments that has ever been made on the internet about Star Trek, the one you just made right now. And it is excellent in defending exactly what Clobby says, what I say, and what Gene Roddenberry says, and obviously DC Fontana and Gene L. Kuhn as well. So excellent, beautiful, amazing comment. I love it, Mr. Angel. Thank you. I wish I could send you a super chat.
Well, excellent. So we should put it up there, right? Here we go. That one?
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing I wondered about in all Star Trek is that one?
No, it's this one.
Oh, okay.
Put it up, boss.
That's the same one I just put up.
Oh, is it? Hold on.
Thing I wondered about.
No,
thing
it's
I
this
wondered
one.
about. No, oh, what? Put it up.
I don't understand why it's switching to that. It's this
that
one.
Counterfeiting must be omnipresent with replicators in the Star Trek universe. That you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Gotcha. I put the wrong one. Sorry. Let's see here. The great enigmatic Drop Bear says C-minus. At the outset, it appeared this was going to be an interesting exploration into what it means to covet possessions whilst operating in an economy that has eschewed money. Unfortunately, it didn't. Unfortunately, indeed. Indeed, as always, great one. Thank you there. The great enigmatic Drop Bears. Sean Carter says C-minus for me. I think maybe they were overcompensating for the series episodes, for the serious episodes. Still not vomit-inducing. Well, no, that's a fair call.
Boss man,
yes.
Cardinal Sin just walked through the door and he left a gift for you.
Oh my goodness, Cardi. What's up? Hang on one second. Let me get to that. For a $1.99 super sticker from the great Cardinal Sin. Hey, Gil, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, and thank you for that. I hope you are doing well, everyone. If you haven't, please subscribe to the great Cardinal Sin's channel. His link is in my description below.
Yeah.
Fanty Outsidey, says he. See, it was okay. It would have made more sense with a lesser known card at broadcast. The card was 4,000. Wow, 4K currently. A PSA 5 is a PSA 5 is 29,500 in 300 years.
Oh. What the hell is going on?
I think he means a PlayStation 5.
What the hell is going on? It happened again.
What happened?
Oh, here it is. I just found it. I thought it got vaporized, but I got it.
You know what you just did? You made me think I was off the air when you said that.
No. Eric K sent something and I couldn't see it, and then I just found it.
Wow.
The chat's acting really weird tonight. I'm so sorry, boss. Anyway, Eric sent you a gift, boss.
Okay, I'll be right there.
Thanks for telling me, Chris. Thanks for telling me, Eric. Love you guys.
The PSA 5 is 29,500 in 300 years. It'd be astronomically expensive. One of two. Hang on. Where were I? Okay. Gonna find your next one. It says one of two, then you put 2 of 3. You lied, but I might let you get away with it. What's next? Them finding a Detective 27, action number 1. Yeah, that was in a later episode, but I don't want to spoil it. Finding a Willie Mays in that condition, that's sci-fi. Well, good point. The premise goes back to a little neglect may breed great mischief. Okay, well, let's have a third one. This once. For want of a nail, the shoe was lost. Here we go, do the nail thing. For want of a battle, the kingdom was lost. And all that for want of a horseshoe nail, or one of the leads. I read Justice League the Nail, and they used that poem pretty well. Hang on a second. Eric K, thank you so much for the super chat, buddy. Says, I guess all the shopkeepers and restaurants, including Quark, accept a human smile as payment. Dumb.
Yep.
I guess. Yeah. Must be what it is, right? Doesn't make a lot of sense, does it?
Yep. Boss, I know that there are 7 comments left that are starred, and some of them are not ratings. But we are about to embark. We're not going to fall down a rabbit hole, I promise. We'll get through this quickly. But our amazing chat has brought up an issue that really irks me. And they're arguing the same points I argue when people ask me about it. So I have starred them, and I really hope that we could talk about them very briefly. I promise we won't spend too much time on it.
Go for it. Well, go ahead then.
No, you go ahead. There are 7, and when you're finished with the reviews, then maybe we could get into it.
Okay. Well, here we go then. Max Redstone says C minus. A slapdash trip through the great material continuum. Kira can't write a speech. O'Brien goes rafting because a cadet and a civilian can do his job. Nog is committing breaking and entering. Yeah, it's really stupid. Wayon could beam out the kids. Julian could have Miles beam out Kukla. Yeah, that's if we could have Miles Kukla Kalaka, whatever.
Yeah.
Geiger can set up all of his engineering equipment. Odo doesn't notice despite its placement. Another good point. Wow. Well, good stuff. Ugh. This episode must have been written on toilet paper. This episode is like Doctor Who's Nightmare of Eden. Oh my goodness, I almost have to watch that one forever. The demonstration of how frivolity, frivolity, run riot makes crap, no matter how well intentioned.
Agreed. And boss man, Dave G Sound just walked through the door.
Dave G Sound, what's up, buddy? Good to see you.
And did we get DJ Ronnie G?
I don't know, did we?
DJ Ronnie G.
Those two, sometimes I always get those two mixed up with it.
Yeah, DJ Ronnie G is here, and so is Dave G Sound. Not just another body of water.
Indeedishness. Addendum. I do appreciate the feel-good vibe of this episode, and I enjoyed the first times I watched it. But this time around, when I watched, it didn't make sense, unlike Progress season what season
one at 15.
Okay, gotcha. Oh yeah, I now think I remember what you're talking about. Chris Persia says, not forgetting the card managed to survive 27 years of nuclear bombardment in World War III.
This is what I'm talking about the science fiction person's brain. They're not thinking about all of the emotions and the interpersonal stuff. They're thinking about something else. And there are 2 more really great comments. That was just nailed, that one, Chris Persia. And there are 2 more good ones, boss.
Larry says, counterfeiting would make objects worthless in a monetary sense, but would make objects readily available.
And this is where Gene Roddenberry is way more intelligent than Ronald D. Moore and all of these people involved with DS9. The whole idea actually isn't silly at all. It actually means that we're going to get to a place where the resources will be poured into these replicators, and then everything, including human excrement, will go back into these replicators. And so the anticipating that will happen is a complicated futuristic conversation. You can't say that for sure money will be necessary going forward. That doesn't mean the death of capitalism. It doesn't mean the death of not being able to get something for your mom for her birthday. It doesn't mean that we won't meet other species that will need currency. What it means is that you can't be a moron when you write science fiction. If you invent something like a replicator where all resources go in and all resources go out, you have to anticipate that there will be huge changes economically, that there will be huge changes societally. So I love Larry's comment. And then there's one more that is just outstanding, boss.
Mr. Angel says, R.M. Briggs, the sci-fi writer Jack Vance, had a solution of that value problem. He defined a currency based upon the value of 1 hour of work, 1 SVU, standard value unit. There you go.
And this is the thing, right? This is why I just love this conversation that's happening with these people in the chat and the comments being made here. Because when Gene Roddenberry conceived of this idea going forward, it's also people on a ship. And so when you're, and this is the early or mid 60s, when you're on a ship, every single thing that's in your body has to be recycled and used. I mean, in real life, there's garbage on the moon. There's garbage in space. And he wanted to have this idea where everything got used and then everything got reused. It's actually incredibly brilliant. And yes, had the series been able to continue, especially let's say phase 2, it's obvious that the genius of the Holy Trinity would have been able to flesh out the fact that if you were a citizen and if you were with Starfleet, you would have a certain amount of access to those resources. This is just a matter of not being able to do that because he didn't have a show to do that with. But it's certainly not a ridiculous idea, as Larry has pointed out, as Mr. Angel has pointed out, as several people in the chat have pointed out. It's actually quite genius because you're anticipating how resources will change and resource management will change on a go-forward basis with the advent of a replicator. So I love you all. You guys are brilliant people. I adore you. Mwah.
I would just point out that in a time when True Trek is not being made anymore and hasn't been made for almost 20 years, that even flawed, messed up, mistaken Star Trek still has us talking about ideas. Anything run by this filth never does. All that does is make you, angry and talk about how garbagey a show is.
Yep.
So the fact that we're still talking about ideas, even in an episode that we're finding very flawed, should tell you why real Star Trek, is such a beautiful thing. Just wanted to say that.
I agree, boss.
And our final review of this episode of the evening, the great Mark D with a C, says B+. It's got a time-traveling Willie Mays. Enough said. Where's Captain Finnerty when you need him? I don't know. He's out. He's in the time stream somewhere doing his job as a time cop, as Timus Maximus. The card probably would not be that valuable since Trek predicts the end of baseball. Yeah, that is kind of interesting. That's probably why it wouldn't be, because no one cares about baseball but Cisco. Despite some flaws, I enjoyed the humor in the episode as a prologue to the Dominion War, which is a laugher and a half, right? All righty. So there's our, I think we're done with this one. Can we throw this one away now?
Yes, discard, boss.
Let's discard the cards.
Yep.
Yada, yada. Okay, so we're ready to move on to our, actually going to be which will be our final episode review of the evening. Are we ready?
Boss
Hey,
Man?
Midnight's Oblivion. Hey there.
Sorry,
Good
I was
to
just
see
going to
ya.
say that, boss. Didn't mean to interrupt
got
you. Sorry, honey.
No, that's cool. I like that because I need to know these things.
And your cousin's here. Hey, cuz. How's it going, David? Nice to
What's
see
up,
you, sweetheart.
cuz?
Thank you for joining in.
Good to see you, man.
Very good to see Midnight's Oblivion.
Yep, and Midnight's Oblivion. I'm glad you're here. Always a pleasure.
Should I dig into it, boss?
Let's see here. Okay, our next episode and our final one of the season and our final episode review of the night is Call to Arms.
It is. Call to Arms is season 5, episode 26. This is an international show, and this show gets chopped up in all different ways. So if that number does not suit your streaming service, please remember it is production code 524. We all watched this for the very first time on June 16th, 1997. I'm going to pause because the great
Eric
Bronze
K.
Wrencher, the daddy of
Thank you,
Kirby
Eric.
Curbs, has a gift for the boss.
Thank you so much, buddy. You're too kind. I appreciate that. He says, I still think the shopkeepers and restaurants would like to be paid in not in human or Starfleet smiles. I do not see Quark being that generous. No, that's exactly right. I mean, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it
what
would
if-
just be like, yeah. Anyway, that's
Somebody's
why
paying.
that's why, isn't it funny, Eric? I think was it Chris Persia who I was speaking to this about before on air? But this idea that I think this drama show could have used, that the real Star Trek would have eventually used. And that is this idea of access to resources. So if we had to go to Empok Nor to go and get something, it would have to be because we didn't replicate it. Why is that? So where do those resources come from? And how do we do the trade with other worlds? And so, I definitely think that you need sentences to please the science mind where this is concerned, and even the social science mind. But I just don't think that these people are intelligent enough to do it. I just don't.
Good part.
Yep.
All righty. Well, there you go. Call to arms it is.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to be reading from Wikipedia. I haven't pre-read this, so it might suck, especially because the writing is usually atrocious. And if it's wrong, we'll correct it, I promise. Let's do it, everyone. Upon learning that the Romulans and other major powers have signed non-aggression pacts with the Dominion, Starfleet Command orders Captain Benjamin Sisko to prevent further Dominion reinforcements from reaching Cardassia from their home territory in the Gamma Quadrant. DS9 crew members Jadzia Dax, Miles O'Brien, and Rom devise a plan to block the wormhole with a field of self-replicating cloaked mines. The mines cannot be activated until they are entirely deployed, which will take some time to complete. Shortly after deployment begins, Dominion Representative Wei Yun declares that a Deep Space Nine will not be attacked unless the mines are removed. Since Starfleet reinforcements are unavailable, Sisko asks the Klingon General Martok to patrol the border while the Defiant continues deployment. Sisko endorses the non-aggression pact offered to Bajor by the Dominion in the hope it will keep Bajor out of the coming war. Sisko officiates Rom's marriage to his fiancée Lita before she and the other Bajorans evacuate the station as a result of the non-aggression agreement. Starfleet personnel remain to defend the station until the mines are completely deployed. Dominion forces attack and are met with DS9 armaments and Martok's vessel, the Rotaran. After the minefield is activated, Sisko orders the Starfleet personnel to evacuate as well, surrendering DS9 to the Dominion. He announces that while the Dominion was occupied with DS9, a combined Starfleet Klingon task force wiped out an important Dominion shipyard. During the evacuation, Dax and her lover Worf are assigned to separate ships, and she agrees to marry if they survive the war. Captain Sisko's son, Jake, remains on DS9 to serve as a reporter for the Federation News Service while the station is occupied by the Dominion. Rom remains as well, acting as a spy for Starfleet while working at his brother Quark's bar. Bajoran liaison officer Kira disables the station's systems by activating a preset computer program, and then she, Quark, and security officer Odo welcome the Dominion occupiers, led by Wei Yun and the Cardassian Gul Dukat, to the station. Boy, the writing's really crappy here, folks. Dukat reclaims the station commander's office, where he finds the baseball Sisko left behind, a message to him that Sisko will return. Sisko is upset to learn that Jake has remained behind, but cannot return to DS9 and jeopardize his crew for the sake of one man, even his own son. Soon the Defiant and the Rotaran join a massive armada of Starfleet and Klingon vessels. And that is all the collective internet has to say about Call to Arms. It might be Call to Buckets. So I'm going to turn it over to the boss. Boss, what'd you think of this one?
I now think it's my favorite episode of all time because you keep talking about. Oh crap! I mean, here we go. Now it's down to beeswax with the. So we're starting the war. So buckle up, folks. Whether you like it or not, it's wartime, and that's it. That's what the show is about right now, and it's going to be just about. That's what the show is. It can be called Deep Space Dominion War. That's what it is now. Whether you like that or not, if that's not what your bag, then but that's what it is. So do I think that at least they do it well sometimes? I think they do. This was I guess an okay start to it. It's just your typical, and I always have kind of a problem with this sort of thing where you're writing. I keep thinking about you're writing it. You have to write it to make a big season-ending cliffhanger. That kind of stuff gets old to me. Season-ending cliffhangers kind of bore me, to be perfectly honest. But I guess it's done well enough here. Sure, it gets across the finish line and says, "Hey, we'll see you next year, guys. For get ready for that big war." There's some good drama in it. There's some good action. Some good, well done, stuff in there. I kind of like some of the character stuff here and there. It's a decent character episode, except for certain ones that make you give raspberries. But I don't have a strong opinion one way or the other because it's all like a lot of this show is filler and setup. So I don't have really a whole lot to say about it. Just go with your notes.
I love you, boss. Let's do it. This episode has Jadzia and Kira talking about Odo's crush on Kira as though Jadzia wasn't present for the 8,000 person genocide of the people who existed but didn't exist. They existed, but they never existed.
Who?
Those people.
No,
even if Kira didn't tell anyone that Odo killed all of those people for love, there's still the issue of Odo and Kira going off alone, cooing and kissing, and holding hands on the planet. Everyone knew they were together. Moreover, they were getting along swimmingly last week and the week before. So this whole thing where she's suddenly avoiding him, doesn't know how to deal with her feelings, and Jadzia is shocked. Shocked. It's just, it's...
shocked.
Now, prepare, saddle up, lock and load, folks. Here we go. You ready for this?
Yes.
One storyline is Kira and Odo romance. And then in parentheses, I have pubescent giggly sighs and awkward grins. Then we have Garrick and Zial romance. These are awkward grandpa kisses. Then we have the third storyline, Lita and Ram romance.
Oh, God, that was coming.
Awkward, gross, open mouth, face swallowing kisses from Worf and Jadzia. Oh, no, sorry.
Oh, God, yeah.
Face swallowing kisses. And then the fourth. Then the fourth storyline is Worf and Jadzia pledging that they're going to get married, and then they have a gross kiss with the man who has an armadillo on his face and hasn't brushed his teeth in a decade, who also uses Rom's tooth sharpener. Or was that Quark's tooth sharpener? No, it was Rom's.
Wow,
he stole it from Rom. Anyway, so Kira and Odo romance, pubescent, giggly, awkward, gross. Garrick, the man who's like 40 years older than Zial, awkward grandpa necking. Then Lita and Rom. Oh, Rom! Gross, open mouth, face swallowing kisses that make me want to puke. Then Worf and Jadzia are getting married. They have some gross, weird personal talk. And then she kisses the man who doesn't brush his teeth.
Ezra Goldstein.
Hi, Ezra. Shalom. Garrick's confession to Odo is profound, questioning how actions committed in the name of peace and pacifism allow for violence and war. Okay? Should he have killed Dukat? What saves more lives? This is what the whole show should have been about. Okay? This idea. Now, I'm going to say this again because I just want to make sure that everyone gets across what I'm trying to say. Garrick's confession to Odo is profound. It's very philosophical. So pump the brakes on this one. Okay? Questioning how his actions that were committed in the name of peace and were committed in the name of pacifism. So he was not going to take up arms against Dukat. He wasn't going to kill Dukat. He was going to follow the human ethos and not hurt Gul Dukat. Okay? And how that has actually enabled 100% more war and more violence. So this whole idea of should Garrick, who Andy is an amazing actor, should he have killed Dukat? We should have spent way more time on this. This whole idea of what saves more lives, this pacifism, this peace at all cost, or to take action against an adversary who is surely bound for war. But we don't spend any time on that. We spend like 2 sentences on it. Why? This is one, just filled with cheesy romances. Then 2, Pew Pew War with way too much fire in space because there's no oxygen in space. So where the hell's all this fire coming from? And it's just, look, I went around the internet and I found people that thought this was a 10 out of 10 Star Trek episode. What's wrong with these people?
Drama.
What's wrong?
They just like the drama stuff. A lot of people do.
Anyway,
People go to Deep Space Nine for drama.
well, this
Let's just
isn't
be
drama.
honest.
This is a fine
Well, I
romance,
know.
as Ella
Well,
Fitzgerald would say. It's lots of
look,
gross kissing with
but
lots of really
romance-
dirty appliances.
I know, but romance stuff comes under the auspices of drama, basically.
Hey, Wendy and Jimmy are here.
Oh, Wendy, hey, and Jimmy. I'm just saying that's the kind of thing there is. Still comes under drama. That's what they're into.
Yeah.
So
Just the Kira and Odo romance is just so giggly and gross. And Grampy Pampy Garrick kissing Zial, necking with her on the promenade, and Lita and Rom with those teeth. It just
Well,
and they did the face swallowing kisses too, like where your mouth is fully open, where it's almost pernish. And then Worf and Jadzia.
Oh,
I mean,
Claude
imagine.
Salling.
Ugh,
Hey,
imagine.
Claude Salling. Sorry. Good.
Yuck.
Good to see you, Claude.
Hi, Claude. Sorry, Claude.
Oh, no, I just wanted to get that in there. So you really don't like the romance crowd. What's so hilarious, I've never, and I'm not saying never, maybe not never, but you don't meet very many ladies that don't at least enjoy the romance crap to any degree. I usually hear guys bitching about it, if you know what I mean. So
I'm sorry.
no, I'm with you. It gets annoying. I love when you do it, especially when you add sound effects because everyone's going nuts.
But it's true, and for me, it's like if you're in science fiction, like I said earlier, it's like, here, kitty, 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 kitty. Then you get there and there's dog food. No. Don't call me. Don't call the dogs. Here, boy. Come here, boy.
Out.
That's what you need to do. And let the dogs come to you.
Yep. Well,
Just think about Lita and Rom, and that beautiful woman who's built she's just built, and she's very attractive and incredibly cute, and she opens her mouth fully like she's going to swallow his face. It's like Pac-Man and Mrs. Pac-Man. It's like Barba Papa. It's like she's going to completely envelop his face. Just sucking face, so gross. Sick.
Don't forget the brilliant dialogue, Jadzia. That explains a lot. Kira, it does? No, not really. It just seemed like the right thing to say. Yes, yeah. Scintillating. Yeah, I see. Mark, thank you, Mark. He sent a picture. We have a member chat. Thank you, sir. Member chat from DJ Ron G. He says that time Worf used the Ferengi tooth sharpener. Yes.
Yeah. Sick,
yuck.
Man. And his teeth are all yellow and sprinkled and brown in spots. And they do an open mouth kiss. So sick. I mean, I think it's actually just as gross as Lita and Rom trying to swallow each other's faces on the promenade. Just imagine how that smells.
Oh, no. Did you have to mention smelling things? No. Stop.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Oh,
jeez.
Let's rate this puppy.
Okay, it's not a 10 out of 10.
What is your rating for Call to Armpits?
Look, I understand what they're trying to do here, and I don't want to be a total jerk. But I come to this crap because here, kitty, 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 I'm expecting meat. I do not expect dog food, okay? I don't want to be mean, but I hate all this romantic crap. F off with the romantic crap, okay? It's not a 10 out of 10. It's a C+. I'm going to be generous with it, but it's gross, okay?
No, I hear you. Hey, look, give it whatever you want.
Give me a kiss with your snail juice breath. Come on, honey. Come suck my face off.
I, too, will go with the C+. It's just, it's got a lot of good stuff in it. I mean, so as far as some of the drama, but it's just still filler and setup stuff. Like everything else in the show. They really like to stretch things out.
Rom, I have a tube grub in my tongue.
Oh, Jesus God.
It's oh, oh,
Yikes. That hurt. That hurt me deep inside. Oh. Well, my friends, please come across with your ratings and any words you may have about Call to Underarms. And while you're doing that, I will bring us some Max Redstone entertainment to close out season 5 of DS9. Here we go. Oh, we got 2 of them. Wow, we got a bonus. So here we go. This is our latest limerick from the great Max Redstone. Warrior of Justice. Warrior of Justice, welcome. I didn't see you pop in there. Thank you so much. For the $2 super chat says, what did Spock find in Kirk's toilet? Captain's log. Yep. Yeah, that's seen that one before. Thank you, Warrior of Justice. I've heard that one, and thank you. You are too kind. All right, where were I? Max Redstone. Where we at? Okay. Call to arms by the great Max Redstone. There we go. Of the Dominion, Starfleet has no cure. DS9 is the first stop on their grand tour. So, without much duration, Cisco left and trashed the station, and Jake stayed behind just to make sure. And there's a second part. And end of the season, little finale, little bonus by Max, and there we go. Lita and Rom, what a mess. Having an argument over a wedding dress. They might quibble about wines, but never about self-replicating minds. Maybe Julian's teddy bear could have relieved this stress. Wow, top-notch stuff by the great Max Redstone. All right, buddy. Always just outdid yourself on that one, brother. Thank you. Oakley Dokley. Let's see some reviews we got set up here. Midnight's Oblivion says simply a B-. Okay. Thank you so much for that. Simply Steve 68 says F for war cannot be won. We'll see. F for war cannot be won, but lost by all who didn't participate. Odo, Kira, Worf, Jadzia, Rom, EO, Lita, and Garrick. Thank you so much.
Did he just Romeo?
Romeo, I like that.
That is some cherry work there.
Good work. Yeah.
Love it.
Nice. Indeedishness. Where do you go there? Pleasant Valley Picker says B+. Finally, a good episode. Nice build up. Odo not asking Kira out was a cute moment. Ducat extremely slimy. Yes. Nice Odo Garrick bit. Some nice battle scenes. Finally, the Dominion War starts. It does indeed. It is started. Zathras says D-. We did learn an important lesson. Always shoot someone in the back. Thanks, Star Trek. I'll always remember that. You forgot one other lesson, and that is that B5 is better than DS9.
Yeah.
Do I have to keep reminding you of this, Zathras? Come on, man. Let's see here. J.J. Kirk says, 8 poorly conceived minefield ideas out of 10. I absolutely love the wedding dress idea. I hope we get to see the wedding next season. I don't like the Kira Odo romance already. Everything else was so-so. Gotcha. Kal-El says B-. This episode was a good season finale, which sets up the Dominion War with all of the expected drama for such a story. The interactions between each of the characters were realistic enough and believable for people facing an imminent threat such as war. I did enjoy that we got to see the mask slip a little on Wayun before resorting to more diplomatic means of persuasion. Hang on, let me get to your next one, bub. All right. Okay. Which, of course, didn't fool Cisco. There was enough in the episode to be entertaining while simultaneously setting the stage for the next season and beyond. However, the series has now fully... Hang on. Turned away from traditional Star Trek stories. Boy, howdy, has it ever. And its vision of a hopeful, optimistic future at best. It's now a drama series in a science fiction world, although it did entice me to keep watching when this episode originally aired. I also found myself wanting a return to the enviable future that Star Trek originally promised. Yeah, I'm right there with you, Cal. I was talking to a friend about this the other day. I've never been Marker. I can't remember who it was. And I've talked about this till blue in the face for many years now. Star Trek, even in a show where I like these characters and I do like the show, Star Trek should never be about, the show shouldn't be about war. It deals with war, like, in things like Taste of Armageddon and Private Little War or what have you. It can be about war, but other people's wars. Star Trek itself, our protagonists, our Star Trek characters should not be at war. And I fundamentally disagree with doing that. And I didn't like it when they did it with, even though I loved Enterprise, I really didn't like I thought they shouldn't have really done that on there either, even though I still like the show. And this just, to me, doesn't work. Lisa says, F, season finale. I have nothing clever to say here because there was nothing clever there. Good point. Not inspired or anxiously awaiting for the outcome or next season. 2 seasons to go, maximum more, please.
I love you, Lisa.
Lisa, well said. DJ Ronnie G says agonizer. Because it doesn't show me the picture, it just puts the words up there. Zathras said, Raquel, we need a Claboni shower, please. Do we?
Yep.
Are we ready? Do we need one?
Well, he called for it. If he called for it, I'll pull the tarp off of it. I'll start her up. I think she's warm. Go ahead and run her off, Captain.
Okay. I gotta find it first. Where's my... Okay, here we go.
Clabberin, if you perceive Alamarine, you'll come with
Sandra Feliciano says, C, the romance, quote unquote, was gratuitous and added nothing to the story. Of course,
right?
There wasn't much story other than showing political maneuvering.
Yeah.
I did like the implication of Cisco leaving the baseball. Yeah, I did. Sandra,
yeah.
I thought that was a nice touch. I agree with you there.
That's a really good review.
Indeed. Mr. Angel says, B, I wish I could write a critique, but I'm laughing too hard. I liked it enough.
We love you, Mr. Angel. Thank you, Chef.
Wolfie says, rating A-. This is by far the largest grouping of Starfleet ships we have ever seen in any iteration of Trek so far. Miranda, Excalibur, Defiant, and Galaxy classes. Yes, true enough. The Akira, Steamrunner, and Saber class that were new CGI models for First Contact, make their way on a TV screen for the first time ever. Nice to see them flanked with Klingon starships. The upgrades to the station are pretty effective considering Kardashians back in full evil mode. This is a part 1 of a 7-part contiguous story, unprecedented for television at the time. Yeah, there you go. Wendy Trauma Warrior says, I didn't do my homework. I apologize. Sounds like an episode I should have missed. Whew, that was a close one. Well, it depends on who you talk to, I guess. There, Shooter with an Eshpick says A-. Jake has turned to the dark side. Never trust a journalist. Rom and Lita's wedding is a nice message of hope against the bleakness of the upcoming war. I never thought minefields previously used in Star Trek were very effective. It would take huge regions of space and resources to be effective. This one is far more practical. If the mines are self-replicating, couldn't they have used that system to speed up deployment before activating the minefield? Wouldn't be as thrilling, but would make more sense. So the Dominion honors its treaties. I had forgotten that the Dominion is a vast collective of planets, and diplomacy is one of their strengths. A bit more focus on this prior could have been nice. Did the Defiant and Rotaran both docked to the station during a firefight as the DS9's defenses were failing? Also, Sisko's decided to make a speech before leaving. Yeah. I love the strategic decision to let DS9 fend for itself during the mine deployment. While a risky choice, it did prove an effective distraction. Plenty of action and suspense, decent ending. Okie dokie. Thank you so much, Shooter. Max Redstone says, C, number 1, welcome back to Cater. I think he means to Cotter. Welcome back to Cotter. Welcome back to Cotter. I get it, and I like it. Oh, I'm not going to say Moogie like that, dude. It'll destroy what I have left of my voice. Sorry, but Moogie. No, I can't do it. Sorry. Cisco can't make sure his kid is aboard. Yeah, Moogie. Yeah, that was pretty disturbing. Jake, not good, but it was, again, drama. Warrior of Justice says, rated F for too much slime, not enough romance. Good one. I understand. Simply Steve says, D-. War cannot be won, but lost by those who don't participate. Kira, Odo, Rum, Io, Lita, Worf, Jadzia, Garaxial. What is this mushy, kissy stuff? Best left for daytime soaps. Nope, no sci-fi here. Too true, my friend. Too true.
It's like that meme where they have like Oprah saying that you get a this and you get a this and you get a this. It's like everybody got a soap opera kiss. You get a kiss and you get a kiss. Everybody gets a kiss. Look under your chair. There's a kiss. Anyway.
Pretty much. Sean Carter says, B for me, regardless of dilly romance, the drama in this one is great. I love the baseball being left behind. That's probably my favorite bit as well, Sean. Also, and Kira telling what's his face to cut what a creep bag he is. Or maybe it was a different episode. But she does that a lot. Raymond says, A for the battle scenes and the run up to the battle. The intrigue and the way the minefield was great. Who knew Rom, EO, right? Rom Space Knight. Who knew Rom, who had with it D. D for the romance and crap. Final grade C. Thank you, Raymond. The great Scuba Pete says, B. I wouldn't have mind if they had just focused on the wormhole. I like it. The wormhole ensuing battle and skipped all of the personal grubbing going on. Indeedishness, sir.
Oh, God, I love Pete. Pete is like one of the funniest guys I've ever known.
You rock, sir. The great enigmatic drop bear says C+. The military buildup at the border of a neighboring territory as a precursor to an invasion echoes recent global events. Human history has many, many examples of similar events. Similarly, history has many examples of a vulnerable neighbor signing a non-aggression pact or treaty with the antagonist while their stronger allies implement an aggressive defensive strategy. So I am torn. The episode depicts realistic scenarios that echo our history, but they are not the optimistic future espoused by Star Trek. It just seems too bleak to be Star Trek.
Yes.
That's my problem with it
What a
as
beautiful
well,
thing to
ED.
say.
Why lace high drama where existential issues are being considered with trite melodrama?
Yes.
Most of the hackneyed melodramatic dialogue and scenes were barf-inducing.
Yep.
Well done. Well said, sir.
What a great review.
Indeed. Absolutely. As always, great stuff there, ED. Raymond said, oh, P.S. Clobbering Times, I just found out I received a regional award for my volunteer organization. Oh, award. Well, congratulations, Raymond. Good stuff, King Dolphin. Wow. Nice. Very cool. Excellent, buddy. DJ Ronnie G says 7 out of 10. Okay, for a cliffhanger, the Jake punchline was amusing. Let's see. Lisa says I have to revise. Rom coming up with replicating minds while agitated was pretty good, but that's about it. Let's see. So F+ revision. I love it. The great Chris Persia says they should have gone with number 42. Everybody knows it's the solution to life, the universe, and and wedding dresses, of course. Yes. Thank you, Chris. Let's see. Let's see here. Phantom Outsider says C. Lita was just cleaning the tube grubs out of Rom's teeth. Oh, man, what is wrong with you? Fanty? Dude.
I love it, Fanty.
God, man, I'm going to... Man.
Sick. It's so sick.
Also, if Rom... what happened?
It keeps doing that, and I don't know why, and it's really starting to make me angry.
No, just don't worry about it. Good. Let's see. Where am I? Oh. Also, if Rom closed his mouth, dude, with those teeth, Lita's tongue would have been Swiss cheese. The main thing was Garrick going against character. Excuse me. Apparently not wanting to kill Zeal's dad. Zeal, but yeah. That was very un-Garrick. When they were fighting together, the number of opponents made Dukat valuable to Garrick. As soon as it was over, Garrick should have... That was an episode a while back, though, too.
Mm-hmm.
Given Dukat a pew-pew treatment.
Yep.
With the we almost made it, but one of the bad guys shot him in the back. It's safer that way. Better for you, better for us, better for them. Yeah.
And maybe say that in an episode so that you can dig into the philosophical consequences of doing something like that. Instead, that's like, I don't even understand. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, instead of sauce for the goose, it's like you microwaved the goose and then you put sauce on it and expected it to taste good. It a little too little, way too late. Way too late.
Way too late. The chief engineer, great Mark D with a C. And pop in whenever you feel like it, buddy. Come on in if you're of a mind to. C. Totally insane that the Federation continues to allow DS9 to be so unprotected with just a defiant one Klingon battlecruiser. Absolutely.
Dumb.
The self-replicating minds were a silly MacGuffin. Wouldn't the Dominion be able to tell that they were not active? More insanity. Jake staying behind where he could become a prisoner of war. Oh, it was so... Cisco's MacArthur, I shall return speech, and leaving the baseball were one of the few highlights of the episode, along with some of the space combat. It's a fair couple. I also like the moment between Rom, Space Knight, and Quark. You're my brother. Whatever happens, we belong together. Quark, well, like I said, you're an idiot. That was a nice scene. I mean, yeah, I hear you there for sure. So let's see. I guess that probably wraps up the episode, if I'm wrong. Look, we got it.
I think
I think
that's
we
it, boss.
put this one out the pasture right here. Really. How'd that get back up there?
I think we're ready to do the good, the bad,
Well, yeah,
and the
well, yeah.
ugly.
Yeah, we're about to get there. So we're
Prepare,
Mark,
folks. Prepare, folks.
Mark D,
Prepare.
let us know if you join.
Prepared.
Pop in when you can, Duder, so we can start wrapping up the season of what do you call it again? Deep Space Nine. That's right, yeah. Next week, by the way, 4 more episodes. There he is.
Dun.
Hey everyone, how's it going?
Yo,
Yo.
what up?
Not much.
What's up?
Sorry to be late tonight.
Late?
And
Were
from
you late?
Well, it was. Yeah, it was late. Yeah.
I don't know.
Got
You didn't
your
notice
good,
I was
bad,
in
and
here?
ugly ready?
No, we knew. I knew you were. You didn't
I'm
seem late to
joking.
me.
No, okay. No, I
No, I'm
popped
just
in.
kidding.
That's it.
We did though. We were
But hailed everyone in the chat. Yeah. And I actually rated an episode lower than you guys. What happened?
Did you? I don't know. I don't
What?
think you did. When?
Yeah, I gave that a C. You gave that one a. You both gave that C pluses, right?
Oh.
I gave it a C plus. Oh yeah, you
Yeah.
did. Okay,
Yeah.
that's happened from time to
Wow.
time. There you go.
Oh.
Well, yeah. So I don't know if I can come up with more than enough to fill up like a. I don't know if I can come up with maybe 1 or 2 that I even like this season.
1, 2, 3, 4,
I'm just gonna listen to you guys talk about it, and I'll just
7,
throw it
8.
out
Well,
there.
I have 8 Fs from this season, and
Yeah,
two
I like-
or 3 F minuses.
I'm missing 2 of your ratings. Soldiers of the Empire.
Who?
For my spreadsheet. You gotta have a
Okay, honey.
spreadsheet.
I'll get it for you. Hold
Whose
on.
ratings? Raquel's or mine?
Yeah, Rick, and yours too. I'm missing a couple. Soldiers
I
of
don't
the
know what
Empire.
mine.
Yeah, you know. Yeah, I was actually going back and listening to the
Oh,
episodes.
so
of
wasn't that
writing them
last
down.
week?
That was last
I
week.
don't
Yeah,
know. Just start writing. I write them down.
Soldiers of the Empire was like
I gave it
before
a B
Terra
minus.
Nor.
B minus.
That
Yeah.
one a B minus. Soldiers of the Empire. Yeah.
Soldiers of the Empire, I gave a C plus.
What's the other one?
Okay. And then I'm missing Blaze of Glory.
Blaze of Glory. Which
Okay,
one was
let's
that
see.
one? That was like 2 weeks ago.
Maquis
say we-
plunged the Federation of war. The
Yeah,
Maquis
that's
pretty
when,
close mission.
the last Eddington.
That's
What
Oh, the
what number is
Eddington
that
one.
one?
I gave it a C minus.
23.
I gave that a C minus.
23.
C minus. All right, 1.7.
23 I gave Blaze of Poopy. It is a C minus.
Okay, 1.7.
Shot down.
And then the last, of course, I
in a blaze
got
of
here late. So what did you
poopy.
guys give in the cards?
I gave it that a C minus, but what'd you give that one, number one?
In the cards, I gave a D,
A D,
which
a
it
D.
richly
A 1 point.
deserved.
Oh my goodness, these are low ratings. I mean, the averages, it's going to be ugly when.
Good night, Sandra.
Good night, Sandra.
Good night.
What?
King
Let's see.
Dolphin
I'm glad
TV.
Well, good way to get worn out is by
It's
your
great
granddaughters.
talking
That's a
about
good
real
cause.
Star Trek and not have to deal with people crazy enough to like the filth. Are you, Sandra? Are you dealing with people that are liking? I thought. Are you dealing with people liking the filth? Because so am I, and it's just disturbing, and it's upsetting and it's depressing. Anyway. Okay, Max, you running out, buddy?
Good night, Max.
That's cool, man. Just good to see you. Thanks for all your limericking. Appreciate you, bro. And
Take care, Max.
have a
Live
good one.
long and Limerick.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. It's just so but camera, yeah. So it's interesting that you said that though, Sandra, because I've been having to deal with that a little bit myself. Filth is garbage. Just curious about our ratings. Let's see. Steven says, Kyle says, just curious, but are you talking about ratings of the season overall from the chat as well as the best 3 or 5 as well as worst? Yeah, basically, yeah. I mean, if you got 5 that's 3 to 5 that stand out for your best, and then your worst, and then what you're over after that, we'll get the overall rating of what you think the season deserves.
Oh, Max, just so you know, I did. Larry asked me to put up a raspberry.
Raymond.
So we have a custom raspberry now. You don't have to use strawberries anymore, sweetheart.
Oh yeah, we have a custom raspberry there for you, Max.
And I made it so that it
check
works
that out.
when the chat is in dark mode and when it's in daytime mode.
All right, Max, be good, man. Yeah, I saw that Rob Altus assault triples. Unfortunately, I saw
Well, you
that
got to
film.
be careful. I mean, those tribbles have been known to really, eat a
Let's
lot of
stop.
Klingons, right?
Yes,
Just stop
let's
it.
not
Yeah.
even. Let's not even. Let's talk. Even bad real tricks. Better to talk
Well, we
about.
won't even
What?
mention what we won't
Oh,
even
you're
mention
bringing
what
up the
else was.
poopy.
We won't even mention what else was in that episode, which I pointed out to the clobbering times
No, we
after,
won't.
because then Raquel would
Don't talk
blow a
about
gasket. She
poop.
just
Getting a headache.
cannot know that one. God, oh
I'll tell you
God,
what. I do
save
have to go
us.
get medicine now. So if you guys
Okay, you
will
go get your meds.
take the helm and just
I
start
got you,
getting
boss.
ready. You can just start getting ready, and I'll be right back. I just gotta any of my head's about to explode.
Okay, sweetheart, you go ahead.
Go
All right,
take what you
everyone.
need. Yep.
In the chat, while the boss is grabbing his meds and a little glass of water, would you all please get together? You're good if you have any, and you're ugly if you have any, and maybe if you would like a rating of this season overall, and yeah, and have that ready for when the boss says fire. Don't fire now. Don't fire now. Oh, wait, I got one from my friend Steve. Hold on. Good stuff. Good stuff. Oop, shooters up there. Oh, everyone's shooting. Everyone's shooting. Pew, pew. It's okay. I'll get you started.
Fire away. Yep.
I'll put you in the boss's folder. Oh, Mark. So yeah, like this is gonna be it's gonna be a gong show. Like, okay, so
Yeah.
like you have your spreadsheet and you do
Mhm.
it your spreadsheet. I keep everything tactile. So I have enduring post-it tabs that are used for marginalia in academia. And so I used, for the good, of course, I use green because you get a green light. For the bad, I used yellow. And for the ugly, I used red. And just in F's alone, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 red tabs.
A lot of
Affixed
bumping
to the
uglies
margin.
tonight.
It's it's so gross. There's a lot of gross, and we're
So
going to get into
this
it.
season has actually gone downhill. If we're talking analytically and how you feel about these seasons, and everyone says, and not stereotype or generalize too much, but you always hear like DS9 is just such fantastic Star Trek, and yeah, there's not to say there aren't some really good episodes, and we do grow to love these, a lot of these characters, and I think I keep saying it, but part of the reason it works so well is the actors are so talented, despite some of the crummy writing, and you kind of forgive and forget, I think, in some ways, how many bad episodes there are. And maybe when you go, like, I've never gone back and rewatched DS9 all the way through, and I gave up watching at one point. So I think some of these episodes I haven't watched, or you just do a casual rewatch, or you watch maybe like the Dominion War episodes or things like that. So this just, I mean, and Star Trek, the original series, it's 79 episodes. Or, how many, there are definitely some episodes that aren't good and stinkers, but maybe what, 3 or 4,
Yeah.
maybe a few other mediocre episodes out of the 79.
Yeah.
And we're up to 124 episodes in DS9, which, granted, you've got, a bunch more episodes, but the level of quality is just not there. And of course, I guess if you do like more of the soap opera stuff and the linear television,
right.
But is
and
it
that's
that? Because for years I have always thought that it's actually because there are a lot of fake Trekkies out there. I think a lot of people, especially, like before the social media, when everybody's like, everybody thought of nerd as a pejorative. Social media in the last 10 years has rehabilitated the word nerd. It's rehabilitated the word geek. And so there are people that get on social media, and I think that a lot of the time they're fronting. Like, I don't think
they haven't watched all the episodes.
that's right. I just don't
Yeah.
think they have. And look, I realize that I ruin a lot of things by doing things in an academic way. I watch things in a linear fashion. I talk about comparative literature. I talk about literary styles, constructions, terms, and I understand that can wreck it for people. But I don't buy and you guys know this because I've said this a lot off air, that I don't think that there are as many quote unquote, and I'm using my little air fingers here in front of my computer, that there are this many Trekkies on social media. I also don't think that there are this many geeks and nerds. I really think that it's about cultivating this idea that you're more intelligent than you are, that you're more educated than you are. And of course, we have a lot of psychological studies, sociological studies that prove this. People lie about the books they read, that saying that they've read books they've never read, and saying they watched films and watched television shows that they have not watched. And so we have this age of people trying to brand themselves as being more than they are. And perhaps it's, their dream or whatever. But I think that that's what's leaking through and seeping poop onto this idea that everybody thinks that DS9 is the best ever.
Could be. I don't know. I mean, look, I don't know. I think people watch it all and they are watching it over the course of years, binge it at some point, maybe here and there, and then they're not each week picking it apart for a review, and therefore they just view it as a big glob or a big gestalt entity and go, that was a good show, because there are a lot of really great characters, there's a lot of great moments, I guess. And of course, they're not sitting there thinking the way you and I do a lot. They don't really think if you go outside of the actual, what Star Trek is all about, that's not a good idea. Some people don't even think about that. I'm sorry. They just think they want to see a good show. And if you don't care about that, it does work for a drama, space war type of a show on a space station in the 24th century. That's all a lot of people even need. They don't care about the thing. You and I, we're not, look, I hate to say it, we're just not in the majority when it comes to people who care about being true to Star Trek.
And
shipping the characters
true,
together.
but that's always true of science fiction. Like, science fiction is a very small category of books. Science fiction people like things in celluloid, and so the audience is really small. But when we look at this and we think about Gene Roddenberry defending his very cerebral show that would appeal to hard science fiction people, I just think that the audience is so small of people who are actually watching this and thinking that way. Like, I don't think that, I think it's honest to goodness that, even if Chris Persia didn't come here every week, I know that he's thinking a lot of the same things I'm thinking while I'm watching it. And that can erode your thoughts and feelings about a show over time. I think that the true blue science fiction fans, obviously, were a very small audience. And, Gene Roddenberry wanted to cater to us, and corporations want to cater to the masses. So, hey, DVB's here.
Hey, DVB.
So I think that is true, Clubby. I think it's just, even if we never had YouTube, I would have met Chris on the bus going to school, and like all my other Trekkie friends, and we would have talked about this. Obviously, that was like in the TNG days when I was a teenager, but I mean, like in the DS9 days, I was already a mom and stuff. But I just mean that I'm trying to create a story for you, and that is that people like Chris Persia and I, and people like you and I, and people like Mark and I think that we all gravitate toward one another. And I think that if we have opportunities to talk, I think we talk this way whether or not social media exists. And I don't think that's the case for the vast majority of people on social media who are proclaiming to be these huge Star Trek fans.
They're a fan of the show, and they don't really, it doesn't have to follow the same guidelines that you and I wanted to follow.
That's right.
To enjoy it.
I agree.
And Star Trek, I was going to say, in the 90s hit a real zenith of popularity, the second wave of Star Trek. TNG was universally acclaimed back then, and when that was over, that was a big deal, and people were, upset. And then, DS9, of course, started, what was the last two seasons of TNG overlapped. And so you had this, a lot of excitement. It was in the popular culture, millions of people were watching it each week. And, I think, I don't like as much this iteration of Trek. It's still Star Trek, obviously, but it's a slice of life, on this space station, not exploring. So then when I heard about Voyager, I'm like, oh, this is going to be fantastic. They're going to get it, get back out into space and exploring, and they're going to be in the Delta Quadrant. There's a lot of flaws in that show, obviously, but I do love the idea of the Voyager premise a lot more than DS9. But that's not to say you can't, tell the story of what it's like to be in the Federation, on the space station. But it just where the series goes, it's not my cup of tea entirely. Although there are some great episodes. I look at Trials and Tribulations and the great performances. So.
Well,
And the
as
humor
usual,
with
you
Quark.
raise a very smart point that I really like. And that is this idea that they weren't failed at the outset because there was a space station. Because a space station signals that we're going to have a lot of interactions with various species. And there are going to be a lot of them. And so you raise a beautiful point. That is if we had a lot of science fiction authors on the show, and the show wasn't so dedicated to being serialized and involved with interpersonal relations, I do think it would be better. I do think that it would become something that could compete with Babylon 5. Babylon 5 was very careful in knowing when to push the interpersonal buttons and when to push the science and when to push this idea of another alien. Oh, what can this one do? And that just fires the imagination. So I love that you raise that point, Mark, and I agree with you.
Thank
The
you.
space station isn't what dooms it. It's the dedication to the serialization of interpersonal feelings that seals its fate. So I love that. Love that, Mark.
Thank you. Yeah, and also the shipping of character. I mean, other than Troy and Riker, was this the first? This series went overboard with trying to put characters together too, in terms of
Yeah, and
romances.
TNG didn't do it as much. I mean, even whether you like it or not, I mean, there was some of it there, but it was never. I mean, once in a while they touched on here and there, but for the most part, the interpersonal relationships, other than friendships here and there, were to a bare minimum compared to this. I mean, not even close. Even if yes, it's there sometimes. But anyway, this season, let's start with the good.
Okay, boss.
Or do you want to start with the bad?
Let's start with the good.
Let's start with the good.
Be short and sweet.
Because it's going to. I mean, look, I guess we'll defer to we'll let the lady go first if you
okay.
Prefer.
I'll go
Number
first.
one. Let's start with your best episodes because I'm going to be struggling to pick more than one or two, to be honest with you.
Okay, I got you covered, boss. Okay, so I have 3 good episodes. I had to struggle to get them. The first one, which would be my number 1, the best of the best, would be an A+. Trials and Tribulations. This is
Same
season
here.
5, episode 6. Prod code 503. This first aired on November 4th, 1996. I give myself over to this episode fully and completely. That's a Canadian Tragically Hip joke. Except for the temporal time police. If you give into this, Star Trek becomes an impossible story, a joke without meaning. It's better not to get into this. If time travel were this easy, a stable reality would cease to exist.
Yes.
And then I put underneath, I feel so much love. I feel so much joy. And I absolutely love that Uhura's tribbles are saved. Uhura very much loved tribbles. Dr. McCoy thought they were just the cutest little things. Even our beloved Captain Kirk, had them on his lap and was stroking them. They're very peaceful, sweet little creatures. What did I write underneath here? Green Bin fully integrates DS9 with TOS. Oh, yes. This is why I give the episode an A+. We see a full integration of visually as well as continuity-wise when we approach DS9 with TOS. Insofar as for us diehard Trekkies, the real Trekkies, that includes all the people in this room, we now, well, at least I do, I imagine Dax and Cisco in the bins when I'm watching TOS. And I think to myself, Jadzia's in there, Cisco's in there, and this is where we see this seamless, glorious, sexy, enjoyable marriage of an homage from DS9 to the great and mighty TOS. So that is my number one, Trials and Tribulations. My number two would be Apocalypse Rising. Apocalypse
Yes,
Rising
yeah.
is season 5, episode
Nice.
1, prod code 499.
Greatness.
We all watched this for the very first time on September 30th, 1996. This episode was nominated for Outstanding Makeup and Cinematography by Primetime Emmy Awards. This is a beautiful example of leadership, Cisco believing in Odo despite his sudden lack of abilities. At 10:25, O'Brien says dead changelings revert to a gelatinous state. This is not true. We watched a changeling die, and they look like burnt sugar. They dry up and turn to dust or evaporate, leaving a dark residue. This is sloppy writing here that's inexcusable. Ducat and Kira exchange is cause for chuckles. It is most enjoyable. The whole crew goes Klingon. It's just enjoyable. Alexander Siddig and Nana Visitor have a very cute pregnancy conversation, a wink to the true blue Trekkies in the crowd, as we all know that Siddig, I'm not sure if he's calling himself Siddig at this point, because remember, he's North African and he has over 15 names from his tribe. He is the actual cause of the pregnancy, and this is actually his child. So their little banter is very enjoyable. This is an amusing Klingon cultural romp, great conversations about the Klingon culture. I called it a decent drama, and I gave it a B+.
Mm-hmm.
I have only one more for good, and this one doesn't rate quite as high. The Begotten, Season 5, Episode 12, Prod Code 511. This first aired on January 27th, 1997. This is a science fiction tale about how to communicate with non-corporeal life forms, the nature of scientific experimentation. Miles smacks a pan, and we know that he loves Kira. This is that weird point where he's confronting and showing that he has sexual desires for her. This is actually, so as we dial back to this, folks, this episode would have been an A++ for me if we would have killed the Miles loves Kira storyline. So, and then I wrote in yelling all caps on my piece of paper, barf, with an exclamation point. But then we go back to some good stuff here, because we explore Dr. Mora as a father. Then, of course, we go immediately back to Miles acting resentful towards Shakar, and he openly shows jealousy, and he does this in front of his wife. Everyone's aware of it. I put in yelling all caps, barf, and I underlined it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Dr. Moore pronounces Kardashians as Cardassians, which I thought was amusing. And Dr. Moore uses the Christian proverb of spare the rod and spoil the child. This is in a long line of episodes that are linked together where they're using biblical proverbs. I love Dr. Moore. He is marvelously Star Trek, insofar as if you've ever met an intellectual, if you've ever met a scholar, one of the first things they'll say to you is, I don't know. And this is very important. A very intelligent person once said to me, I don't trust anyone who says they don't know. And I absolutely love that Dr. Mora not only says he doesn't know, but he says that he was wrong. And then he begins to behave like a loving father. And then I wrote underneath, this is glorious. And then I wrote immediately after, more sicko shite with Miles and Shakar competing for Kira. Miles just needed to see Kira's naughty bits. And this is when he's actually jockeying for position to see her hoo-hoo as she gives birth. Quite disgusting. Then we have a baby with no umbilical cord. This would not wash with people like Enigmatic Drop Bear, Chris Persia, Eric K, all of our hardcore, I know I'm missing lots of names, but those hardcore science fiction people that like hard science fiction, example, Isaac Asimov. But the baby has a belly button, so it needed an umbilical cord. How is the baby eating and breathing? Kira has had a placenta tear in the last episode, so you can't just explain this away. Then we have a very dodgy transformation. Changelings can make humans into changelings by absorption. So I think that hurt the story as well. But overall, this, The Begotten, should be an A++, but I reduced it to a B-. And those are my reports to my captain on what is good.
Mark, I mean, again, you
Right.
can go with 1, 2, 3, or even if you have to do 5 or whatever.
Well, I think I got 3, but let me sort.
Yeah,
So I had
do 3.
I had sorted
Do
Raquel's.
1
Yep,
if you
yep.
want to. Yeah.
Yeah, well, obviously, Trials and Tribulations is going to be on
Yeah.
everyone's list. No, I'm surprise.
That was
So,
pretty good.
Oh, I'm getting a little better. Yep. Let me fix this. Surprise. Yep. Let me fix this here. Let me undo my sort. Okay, here we go. There we go. Let me fix this here. Oops, sorry. There we go. Is that back to normal? There we go. So yeah, so Trials and Tribulations, just one of the best episodes of Star Trek, and overall in history. Just hey, we've got that melding of TOS and DS9 and those characters we love, and that was a great point, Raquel, when you said it's just so great to see those characters together, and then you do imagine them in the background, and we see Kirk going down the line, and O'Brien is there, and it's just fantastic, and just makes you smile. It's just there's no doubt about it. It's just so much fun to see that, and just that's one of those ones where you just you're gonna go watch an episode, pop that one in, right, and just watch that. I actually watched that a couple times before we've reviewed it, just because it's so good. So yeah, so let's see. So I had that as number 1. Then I had, you guys didn't rate it as highly. It was The Ascent. I just really love that with Odo and Quark working together. Quark has become a human. Excuse me, Odo has become a human, so he's kind of lost his powers. Maybe the green kryptonite is taking his powers away or affecting him. So you see how he, but his spirit and how he's not going to give up. That scene on the mountain where he's just going to keep going, even though his leg is practically gone. And Quark, that inspires Quark, and Quark keeps going too. So you always think of Quark as being the the comic relief, and the greedy trader / merchant, and was always looking out for himself. And at one point he does want to give up. So I thought that scene on the mountain between the two, I can imagine that's scenes like that have played out between explorers, or people have been trapped in places, or people trying to survive, and you got to go into yourself and take that extra spirit and courage that you might not think you have, and to get and make it to that extra, get past that extra hill or the mountain or whatever obstacle you're facing in life. So I really like that episode and the way the characters worked together there. Although there's some flaws with it, but I loved it.
I thought you had a spreadsheet.
Oh yeah, let me show the spreadsheet. Oh yeah, I gotta show the spreadsheet for people. Here we go.
Yeah, I don't want you to miss out your fun,
Oh yeah, I gotta get to the fun.
It's not really that. It's that Klobb is a geek, but he has so many nerdy tendencies that he actually does want to see the spreadsheet.
Yeah,
No.
he does. Yeah, he does.
I marked as a friend, and I hate for him to disappoint himself.
I forgot.
He'd be mad at himself.
I was working on it. Yeah, I was working on it all day today too. Yeah. So getting those ratings in there, yeah. So Trials and Tribulations, The Ascent, and then Soldiers of the Empire. So that was when they went on the I just love the Klingon episodes, and then Martok is doubting himself, and then the coup de grace in the end when Worf lets down his guard and Martok stabs him, and he asks, "Well, how did you know I wouldn't kill you?" I said, "I didn't." Just typical Worf, and you get to see the Klingon crew that's first, demoralized, and the Dominions kicking their butts, and Worf, tries to inspire them. They all start to sing that Klingon song, And I think Dax on the ship, maybe it's a little bit too much sometimes, but just because of her physicality, she's
Right?
not an imposing figure, and she's supposed to have lived, like 100% agree. What is it, 800 years or it's but she pulls
300.
it off, or 300 years. I guess she pulls it off in some ways, just in terms of her acting, but the physicality, unfortunately, is
Mark, I have to
not there.
interrupt you because
Sure.
if I don't, sweetheart, then this is going to get lost and I want you to receive it. Chef
Okay.
is asking if you wouldn't mind finding a way to put this on Discord.
Well, I'll share the link right now. Actually, in it's a Google Doc, so I'll share it. I'll share it right now.
Sorry
Yeah.
for interrupting you. It's just that's a pretty important request. Everybody loves
Yeah,
the work that
let's
you
see if
put in, and they'd like to see it. If you wouldn't mind, sweetheart.
Yeah. So,
Anyway,
well, let
please
me
continue.
wait. I'll finish what I'm doing, and then I'll share it in the. Thank you for that. I appreciate you guys like it. Yes, I'll share it in the. I shall share this spreadsheet, in Google Doc. So, yeah. So the scent, and then it's nice too. If you see highlighted, it shows you the picture of the episode. So, well, this one's not, but Soldiers of the Empire would be my third best, and really not much. There's a couple more. Some more B pluses there. Apocalypse Rising would have been my next one, and in Purgatory Shadow. But yeah, I think unfortunately we've got more stickeroonies. But these were just, they only made one episode of DS9, and we got Trials and Tribulations. I'm not going to say it would have been worth it, but yeah, that's just. I think that ends up being the best episode of the series. We'll see when we get to the end, but and of course it's just such a tribute to TOS too, and they honor TOS too when they say, unlike Paramount, who forgot to put Kirk in the William Shatner in the promotion a few weeks ago.
Canceled my subscription.
Yep.
Yeah.
And even the Time Variance Authority, the TVA, I joke, I call them TVA guys, but the, they say, I would have tried to meet Kirk and shake his hand too, or talk to him. So even they kind of acknowledge that one, and Cisco calls him the greatest man in Starfleet history. So that's just a loving tribute to our, some of our favorite all-time characters. So just really, really well done. So yeah, and then we'll get to the stinkers. It's unfortunate this season is way too many stinkers. Yeah. So as you'll see, I have a graph here too. So we'll get to that after as we get to the stinkers. So you can see how the whole season kind of goes downhill, and Raquel even gave it some minuses. So this got sorted after we sorted, but yeah, because it's sorted by, but yeah, that's worst. But
This
yeah,
is beautiful.
But you had some negative ratings. So I had to put
Beautiful.
negative stuff in there. Yep. So that was
Beautiful.
well. This is how we rated the. So 6, 9, and 21. Yeah, that's my ratings. We could see these were the better episodes as I rated them. So, but all right. So thank you, and I guess we're on to the clobbering times. I can sort by.
We're on to the captain. Captain, my captain. What did you pick as your top 3, boss?
Well, boy, it's some slim pickings. Some slim pickings tonight. I had to look at the episode guide to remind me, did anything stand out? And of course, Trial of Tribulations is not only my favorite episode of the season, it's my favorite episode of the series, and it's not even close. So I love it so much. It's just like I only really need to mention that one. But I'll just to throw a couple of more out there. I really did enjoy Apocalypse Rising. That was very good, great, entertaining, character-driven stuff. And I guess after that, when I look at this list, I actually have to keep looking at his spreadsheet.
Yeah, I gotta go. Yeah,
I used the titles to jog my memory. Did I like that one? The only one I did like. If you want to call it almost like a two-parter, in Purgatory Shadow and By Inferno's Light, I thought was good stuff, good drama. I really liked the second part of that one a lot in terms of the, with war fighting, the Dominion, the whole Great Escape, parallel to the old movie The Great Escape, some of that kind of stuff. I thought was cool. I don't know. The Dr. Bashir, I presume, was mildly amusing, but what was the one? No, what was the other one? Oh, The
Yeah,
Begotten.
sort
I
of,
thought,
yeah.
again, I like Dr. Moore. I like the Begotten. But those are only like just episodes that I just thought were okay. And I think the thing is, when I watch the season as a whole, I can, in most of the episodes, I can find bits here and there that I like, but always something keeping the episode from being really, really great by just some really crazy schizophrenic writing in many cases. Whereas a lot of good stuff, then a lot of bad stuff. This hodgepodge you know. So yeah, I don't feel that. What I feel super, super strongly about is, of course, Trials and Tribulations. I liked Apocalypse Rising. I liked In Purgatory Shadow and by Inferno's Light a good bit. And, I thought that was at least good. The Ascent, I guess that was kind of okay, but it didn't have a B story there too that was annoying with Jake and Nog, I think maybe. I don't know, another Jake and Nogger thing that they did maybe. So yeah, that's all I have to say about it. I think this is really getting me to thinking what a weak season this is.
Agreed.
Picking the worst is going to be way easier.
Oh yeah, like instantly.
Actually, maybe not. There's so much competition. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I get that wrong.
Yeah.
But,
8 Fs. I have 8 Fs.
8. Whoa, I'm looking forward to that. So there we go with our best. Let me see if any of our friends have some best.
Oh, Raquel, what was your third best episode?
Boss, I starred some stuff, but if you look in your folder, boss, there are 18 comments.
Okay.
What was that, Mark? I'm sorry, sweetheart.
Sorry, yeah. What was your third best episode? You had Trials, you had Apocalypse Rising.
Trials and Tribulations is A+ for me.
Yeah. And
Apocalypse Rising is a B+ for me. And The Begotten is an A++ for me, but I reduced it to a B- due to the shenanigans.
Got a lot of really dumb stuff in it. Oh God, it's so annoying.
So those are highlighting the ones that we picked. Tell me
about Dr. Morrow being a wonderful dad, and tell me about the struggles of the ethics of science. Well, meeting another species, and you had this great actor. I mean, just leave it alone. It's A++. Like
that. Look, that episode more than most is a microcosm of the entire season. It's really, really great next to really, really awful and cringy, terrible in the same episode.
Yeah,
in the same episode. The great stuff with Odo and Dr. Morrow, like you said, and that really wonderful part of the story. And every time you're really enjoying that, it takes you out of it with one of the most idiotic, awful things that they've ever done on the show, which was the culmination, at least it was ending, of the whole pregnancy carried to term by the O'Briens and Kira. So wow, what a schizophrenic episode! Wonderful and garbage at the same time.
Yeah. And the worst part about The Begotten is that it is so outstandingly perfect, minus the weird I need to see Kira's vag while she's giving birth, and that starts a fight.
Yeah.
And then when
you think
even
in that
Shakar
century
goes
that
over
would be not
that
wouldn't be an issue, right? You'd think there wouldn't be an issue in the future, right? Like who would care?
Look, I'd still care who sees my hoo-hoo. I don't know what you're talking about. You obviously don't have a hoo-hoo anyway. He goes over
in labor, though. These days, the father is there. Yeah, I was there in labor. I mean,
that's gross.
Yeah, well, Mark has that. He might not be a biologist.
Yeah, but the thing is that Shakar goes over to comfort his girlfriend, and Miles gets jealous in front of his wife.
Well, that was stupid.
That episode was
ridiculous. Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Like, why did you do that? Why don't you just tell me more about the struggles of Dr. Mora, his ethos, his logos? Let's see the science. Let the science play out. That's what I'm here for. Here, kitty. I'm not an omnivore. I just want meat. Here, kitty. Anyway,
what a shame! What a tragedy!
Everyone in the chat is yelling for the nerds. Get those nerds! Get those nerds!
Sure.
Get those nerds! Nerds! What?
All right. So Shooter says, what's hell? Oh, The Good, Trials and Tribulations at number 1. Number 2, Apocalypse Rising. Number 3, The Begotten. And number 4, In Purgatory Shadow. And number 5, Call to Arms. All righty. Let's see who else. What else we got? Bob Baltus, love it. Trials and
Yes.
Tribulations is the best. Agreed. Agreed. Pleasant Valley Picker says Trials and Tribulations, The Ascent, Apocalypse Rising. Okie dokie. Kal-El says that's the best 5 episodes of the season for him. He's from worst to best. 5, Door to the Battle of the Strong. 4, the uniform. 3, Dr. Bashir, I presume. 2, Soldiers of the Empire, and 1, Trials and Tribulations. All righty. Hang on. Simply Steve says top 2, good Blaze of Glory. I'll do your bad ones later then. Top good Blaze of Glory, Bad Children. I don't see your first one. I don't see your first one, bud. So I'm not. Maybe you want to redo that. Put your best one, then put your first one in a different one there. Simply Steve, if you would. But thanks. Shooter. Some other stuff. Trying to find something. Simply Steve rating. Trials and Tribulations was number 1. Not Blaze. Okay, yeah, I can't really make out what you're saying there, Steve. Simply Steve.
I think he might have made a boo-boo and then he fixed it, but I'm not sure.
It didn't really, because he's got good mixed with bad.
Yeah.
Always put them in 2 different ones, the good with bad there. So, and some of these starred are not really, they're not good. They're not picking butt or good. They're just some stuff that you got starred. I don't know if.
Yeah, just people letting us know how they felt about the season or letting us know how they felt about certain episodes.
Right. Well.
And JT Kirk.
I should have specified because it's such a mess. It'll be forever with these.
Yep.
Let's see.
Yeah, this is folks, this is entirely our fault because we should have said good first.
Yeah. Do good, then do bad, and then do rating.
Yeah, exactly.
In 3 different ones.
It's entirely our fault, not your fault. Everyone, we love you.
Definitely my fault, for sure.
No, it's our fault. I should have said something also.
It's always the captain's fault. There's a difference.
The captain always goes down with the ship.
That's right. Totally agree, Aaron Briggs. There's a definite authenticity to these discussions. Thank you.
Yes. What a wonderful thing to say about our show. I love you, Enigmatic Drop Bearer. You are such an important part of our show. Thank you.
Let's see here.
I love this comment.
Let's see. Overall, didn't keep track. Trials and Relations, as Lisa says, is number 1 worst. Way too many.
Mm-hmm.
I will keep notes. You don't have to keep notes if you want. You don't have to. I mean, like it's not a big deal. You don't have to weigh in on these unless you just feel like it. As far as best and worst rating, it's not a big deal.
It's important to remember too, right? Like that like I'm a certified researcher with a university and I do peer review and like I have a master's degree and like I'm weird, right? And there's someone in this room who's equally weird to me. And his name is Mark D with a C. If you went to a museum with Mark and I, you wouldn't leave the first room because we would stay and read everything. So don't feel beholden to be like Mark and I.
Weirdos like us, yeah.
And not everyone's born like Clobby. Clobby's just like, I remember everything. So yeah, don't worry about it. No pressure, baby. No pressure.
For now, well, we should have started that out, but it's not a big deal. It's all right, let's see what we got.
Maybe just read them in order as you get them.
Just do best. And then
just read what
for now we'll just do best, and then we'll say, all right, now give us your best. Now give it. That was my fault.
And then just
then give us your worst, and then best. Then do your worst, and then we'll do the final the rating of the season.
That's right.
Anyway.
That's right.
All right. Let's see.
No, Lisa, you're doing wonderful. We love you. Thank you so much for participating.
We appreciate you for sure. All of you. Again, everyone, that was me not thinking being clear, not thinking through it clearly. Now I figure out the best way to do it. A bit too late, but now so we know. There was only was only one good episode this season. Trials and Tribulations says, didn't they have
Yeah.
Drop Bear? Yeah. The rest were upper mediocre to awful, although still better than the filth. That's very, very,
yeah.
very true, my friend.
Yeah.
Let's see. JT Kirk says the good intentionally left blank was number 3. The Assignment, because Keiko gets Palpatine. The Modern Trials and Tribulations, number 1, starring me, Kira. I am Kira. Okay.
I love JT Kirk.
Let's move on to worst. Number
Okay,
1.
bud.
Start out. You can put your spreadsheet anytime you feel like it, Mark, of course.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Number 1.
All right, boss, here we go. This was this actually really was difficult for me because I had 8 Fs. So here we go. These are my worst of the worst. I'm going to start with Let He Who Is Without Sin. This is season 5, episode 7, prod code 505. We all watched this for the very first time on November 11th, 1996. This is about Worf having sex. I couldn't be more disinterested. Because of the fact that it's BDSM, right? So it's like, oh, here's a BDSM episode. Anyway, we open with Dax's intercourse injuries, and she's quite injured. So more of this BDSM. Jadzia initiated the Klingon bonding ceremony to initiate marriage. Then she shifted gears away from marriage and then sort of blames it on Worf. So that's also weird. And they write Worf as a complete jerk in this episode. We love Worf, and this iteration of Star Trek makes us not like Worf. They're subtly telling the story of fetish, right? We have Curzon dying during intercourse, right? Because this is that whole Risa thing with the person. And then we go into a show about multiple partners. And then we go into a show about open relationships. And we talk about both of these, right? So Jadzia is still dating and has a sexual encounter with Curzon's sex attendant. And it's very much like that movie that I saw once with Demi Moore and the dancer guy. What's the movie called, Mark? Where they they're doing the pottery together. Ghost.
Ghost. Yeah,
Ghost.
Whoopi
So they're
Goldberg.
like
in that movie. Yeah.
Yeah, in a very sexual way, they're massaging this clay together, and it's obviously coming out to look like a phallic symbol. Then we have Quark with 2 women. Then we have Lita having sex with Julian and a pleasure worker. So they have a threesome. And then all of a sudden we're slapped with this bizarre storyline about military fundamentalism and the accusation of moral decay. The argument presented, peace and Jean's utopia isn't possible. And I believe that Michael Beacom was saying that that's actually in the book, that they were trying to prove that Jean's utopia isn't possible. But it was evident even if it wasn't in the book, so we'll keep going.
Sorry to interrupt, Raquel, but Mr. Angel's headed out for the evening.
Oh, okay.
So,
All right, Chef.
Good night, Mr. Angel. Be good.
Thanks for that, Mark. Good night, Chef. So what Worf does to the environmental systems is absurd. He belongs in jail. This is an act of terrorism. He's a military officer in uniform on an alien planet. And then up on the side, I put, we're presented with a false dichotomy, sexual decadence or war. And I put underneath that, this is really weird. And then I put underneath that, Jadzia acts like a moron. The I am scarred by my childhood story is utterly insane and has no relevance here. The tie-in is moronic. Oh yeah, that's right. They turn Worf into a childhood murderer. And the fight that they have is equally moronic, the way that they talk to one another. So this is just a barrel of barf. And it smeared in poopy diapers, and it's an F- for me. The next
it's a
one,
-0.3.
The next one is Things Past, Season 5,
Oh, boy.
Episode 8, Prod Code 506. This first aired on November 18th, 1996. More time travel here. It feels like every second or third episode. So tired of it now, no matter how they try to make it feel new. Jadzia actually says at one point, and this is one of the dumbest lines in the history of Star Trek, when asked by her superior for information, she says, "I just ran out of speculation." Odo is concerned about messing up the timeline. I find it weird that Cisco is 100% sure they are getting back to their own timeline. So how do we reconcile Odo needing to revert to a liquid state? Why would they speak to Thrax normally, knowing that he's a changeling? They were locked in the link, all of them, though it was Odo pulled into a telepathic link as he has reached out for other changelings and only found Garrick, Jadzia, and Zisco. All four of them are solids. Then the Kira speech. So Odo encountered an anomaly in space. He becomes partly a changeling telepathically to relieve his guilt with 3 other humans. Then I wrote underneath, "This is insane and stupid." This makes 0 sense. This episode is disgustingly bad and insults your intelligence. It's an F-. And then
Oh, they're minus 0.3.
so then another one that I found and this one was really hard to choose. So this is my third, right? For the uniform.
Hey, Michael Beacom.
Good night.
Michael Beacom's here.
Oh, Michael Beacom
Hey.
is here. Okay. Hi. Okay, so For the Uniform is Season 5, Episode 13, February 3rd, 1997. It's prod code 511. Yeah, it was really hard to choose this one. I strongly dislike Maquis episodes. Why is the captain of a space station widely known as a prophet messiah in this sector out hunting a terrorist by himself undercover? We then find out it's the entire senior staff of the space station out hunting a terrorist, and they've been out hunting him for 8 months. Starfleet has triple backups, not one, so the one failure doesn't make sense. Then we have holographic projection. The ship isn't the ship isn't ready is a trope borrowed from TOS. Kind of cool because we go old style submarine. Eddington has never read Les Miserables. He claims it's his favorite book. Les Miserables is written by Victor Hugo, and neither Eddington hasn't read it, and neither have any of the people who write on DS9. The cop, Javert, doesn't chase Jean Valjean for stealing a piece of bread. Jean Valjean humiliated Javert in front of his colleagues. That's why he wants revenge. He wanted to destroy Jean Valjean out of revenge in the book, okay, for a bruised ego. And what's really bad here is that it's bizarre because it would have worked out perfectly if they would have used Les Miserables correctly, because of course Cisco wants revenge because of humiliation. It very much fits that Cisco would want revenge for humiliation. So why not just go talk to somebody who actually read the book? Stop pretending you read a book you didn't read. And then I also put at the end, why do we have yet another borrowed story? And I was pretty angry with this episode, but then Chris Persia and Eric Kay started talking to me, and then I just exploded because I was angry and upset about Cisco using a biogenic weapon and not having to face any consequences, and the possibility that he killed a whole bunch of people. So I added this as an F, and I had many more, folks. I had many more. It was hard to choose.
So many of them.
Yeah, so that would be the so that was F-, and then just F. And
Yeah, just an F, plain old F.
And those are my stinkeroos, boys. Those are
Well,
my
I just want to
stinkeroos.
point out, since I have this, spreadsheet, you also gave Fs to The Darkness and the Light, Empok Nor, Looking for Pakma in all the wrong places, and Children of Time who did not exist even though they existed. And you had 3 0.7s, which are D minuses. Nor the Battle to the Strong, and then Rapture and the Ship. And then you had
That
D's
episode is
here.
not called The Ship. That episode is called The Shit.
Yeah. And then you had D's, which are these are failing grades in the cards, or is D's passing? I guess D is passing.
No, D. No.
Well, D is D pass. I guess a D is passing technically.
You don't want to go
In
to
the
that
cards.
university.
Hey,
Yeah, Ferengi
by the
love
way,
songs.
Kal-El, did you do it? You didn't do any your worst episode. You told us to disregard that one. So that if you still have worst ones, it's getting close. Make sure you give us that one if you want. Sorry, go ahead, Mark. Continue.
Sure, yeah. So in the cards, Ferengi love songs, Business as Usual, A Simple Investigator, Ties of Blood and Water, all D's. Yeah, and if you went to the school, like you don't want to go to a school with a doctor that got all D's, right? So how many D grades do we have total here? This is
I don't know.
how many are in this So we've got what's the sum? We've got 15 episodes in this season that rated D or lower.
That's true.
We're rating on a
So
curve.
out of what, 24?
Rating on a curve.
26. What do we got? 26 episodes?
Oh my god! Yeah,
Yeah.
26 episodes. Holy crap!
Yeah.
That's a bad.
So that's
season.
15. And then you get to, and you had 2, C minuses, which are all right. C minus, I guess. But yeah, so that's can we have some raspberries, please? Yeah. Oh, and RK, we think I didn't even RK's comment until I said that. Yeah, we want to go to university. Yeah, we want to go to see a doctor who got all D's. Yeah, we think alike. God, that's what I was just thinking. Yeah,
Cal, you can put it up
Great
there. We'll
point,
get to it. Put it up wherever you want. But yeah.
Yeah, so there's Raquel's.
wow.
Raquel's is
Put your
gold.
worst up
Yeah,
there,
so
everybody. Put your worst.
yeah, there's their worst.
Right. That's
best,
crazy.
Yeah.
What a season!
That's painful.
Wow.
So Raquel's average for the season. Well, we do the summary now. When we do the summary, are you gonna do we want to do a summary or? Well, her no surprise. Her average is 1.35. That's out of 4 grade point average 4. So 1.35 is what is that rate?
Oh,
1 point. That's a D plus.
So, go ahead and give yours. Your worst.
Yep. So let me do my worst here. Let me.
I would just like to
Sort
say
by
thank
mine.
you for doing that for me. Love you.
You're welcome. Yep. Let's see if I'll click this guy here. Let's see. Sort A to Z. Here we go.
Anyone
All
who
right.
wants to do their worst now, go ahead and you can do your season overall rating. Now we'll get to them. Just I'll have them stored when I see you do it. We'll get them to them as soon as we can.
So now I'm a much kinder grader. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've only got five Fs in this season. 5 Fs. Think of that. A Simple Investigation, I think, is probably my most hated episode because I hate the shipping of characters and I just despised it. I just thought it was such a phony episode of set up and whole Orion Syndicate.
Good night, Zathras.
Good night,
Zath.
Crap. It's just horrible. And I just I can't
Which
like
one?
again, the romance. Simple
You
Investigation.
don't like that one?
Oh, it just kills me. Just that episode. You guys, look, you gave it both D's. What are you thinking of? Come on, change those to F's. But and then Children of Time, which is the most
Wow.
ridiculous time travel episode. I mean, just crazy that they exist or not exist. I mean, it's just totally bonkers. So it's
And he
I mean,
killed
what-
8,000 people.
yeah, and they just let the people just disappear there, right? So and the whole creepy supermodel Odo that looked like he was supposed to be on a woman's romance
with the
cover
open shirt.
with the open shirt.
Look,
Yeah.
bud, you are no Jackson DeForest Kelly. You can put that firm mat away. Put it away.
Wow.
I'm no Fabio, but neither is Odo. God bless him.
Exactly.
When DeForest Kelly walks into a room wearing a disco chain and he has his bear out, I'm like, how's it going? I want to
Wow.
go
Yeah.
for a mint julep when it's no. What's happening here though? Really weird. Gross,
Yeah.
grody.
Lynn Rod
Yeah.
says Fabioto. Good one.
Fabioto, yeah.
Well done,
And then
Lynn Rod.
And of course, I got to go with "Let He Who's Out Without Sin" because that's another shipping episode with
What?
Worf and Dax, and it also got very political for Star Trek with that all those ridiculous
so
the
stupid.
political connotations over, I guess, with unions and that whole
DS9.
how that they're trying to shut down the planet and shut down, quote unquote, the immorality, and it was just totally ridiculous. It's just way too heavy handed, and that's just Worf and Dax never worked for me together as a couple.
No, I can't
As much as
stand
I
it.
love
Never
I
liked
love
it.
both those characters, but I never liked them being together. Just let's she's one of the most gorgeous women on TV history, but doesn't mean I want to see her in romances each week either. But
Yeah,
maybe
but
would
it's also the fact that, like, why would Worf do all that stuff? And if Risa, which is a pleasure planet, is living in a utopia, imagine how all those nincompoops in this episode feel about Earth. So it's the writer's way of saying there's no way that Gene Roddenberry's universe can exist. They turn it in anyway. I got to be quiet. I'm sorry, Mark. Please just talk. I am so mad about that episode.
You're so mad about it. No, it was, but it was went all the wrong places in that episode, just politically and morally, and just a big stinky poopy diaper, to quote you.
Yes, yes.
So yeah, just really disappointed. And two characters that you really like too. So and just the Dax stuff with Worf. It's like come on, he's gonna find a more suitable mate. I think.
I hate the BDSM stuff. I just I don't.
Yeah,
I'm
they're going for the cheap joke. They're going for the cheap
What
laugh.
stuff are you talking about again?
Joke there. On the Rise of Planet with Worf and Dax together.
Oh, all that crap. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, and then when they're getting hurt, all their injuries and all
I know
that
what you
stuff. mean. Yeah. So that's kind of ridiculous. So it's kind of what the Orville went to, in the third season with the two characters. The security chief who's got super strength, and they kept having the jokes, and the engineer kept ending up in sickbay with broken parts and body parts, and so just a silly.
How about
silly
Vanessa
stuff.
Williams, like helping to mold that clay with Jadzia, and they were like, and they were straddling each other, and just oh man, this is not Star Trek. Please stop.
What's happening here? Yeah,
this is a long way from Kirk just putting his boots on. You understand?
Right. Kirkwood, they knew how to keep it, to
subtle.
Keep it to subtle and keep it down to a minimum.
Yeah, and this is just like an all-out assault.
Well, Kirk would mac on a chick every now and then, but it was not the whole story. It was not, and when it was part of the story, they used it well. It just that's not the same.
They made it an integral part of the story.
The story it wasn't gratuitous.
Yeah, it made sense.
I know it was a different time, but
Yeah, and the romances were kind of quick, but that's the nature of episodic 1-hour TV, where it was
Do I need to know that Jillian had a threesome with Ram? No, I don't. No. Do I need to know that Quark's going to have a threesome with a couple of bizarre-looking creatures? Nope. I don't need to know this. I'm not here for this. I'm here for science. Blind me with science.
That episode of TNG when Picard went to that planet and had the adventure with meeting Vosh the first time. That's how you do it. You have them on the planet. You make a couple little funny jokes where they got all these people at Risa.
Yeah.
But then you do some kind of other story that happens to take place on Risa. And it didn't have any of that kind of crap in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
so
Vosh is very cute too. But no,
and again, they didn't overdo it. That worked into the story.
Yes.
It was like an Indiana Jones archaeology.
Right. It wasn't
story.
It was kind of
cute. Actually caused damage to that planet. Not only did he disable the environmental biosphere thingamabobby, but he caused earthquakes that collapsed buildings. He might have killed people.
It was
Why
ridiculous.
wasn't he prosecuted?
It was so stupid.
Why didn't that go to the brig? I mean, doesn't make
more
sense.
dumbness. And the worst thing is, Mark, he did it in uniform.
Yep. No, you're right. Yeah. He should have been court-martialed for that one.
They were absolutely terrible.
Then make fun of James C. Kirk's, quote unquote time violations. What about,
And it was
Worf's actions in that episode. Yeah.
and he was teaming up with the $7 million man too. So
Yeah.
Monty Markham was in that episode. But anyway, okay. Any more? What else you got?
Oh, those are my stinky ones. Yeah. It's Children
worst
of
one?
Time. Yeah, these are my zeros, but those were the ones that angered me the most. So it's
I
Children
hear
of
you,
Time.
honey.
Yeah.
Good selection. Just complete and utter.
Junk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys covered all the. I mean, for the uniform.
Well, here I'll sort yours. Yep.
I'm not going in particular order. I don't care what you can. You can show mine. I mean,
I'll show yours.
sort
Yeah. So,
mine
yeah.
if you want.
Yeah. I'm sure you got the same ones. Or
Let
Or
he
close
who
to
is
the same
without
one.
brains write the price this episode. It's probably the one I hate the most. Children of we never existed, but we did, but we never existed. We exist, but we never have existed, and we never existed, but we remembered, but we never, even though we never existed, we remember. People remember us, or whatever you want to call it. And yeah,
I remember.
yeah, I'd have got nothing there. You all covered all the garbage badly. I don't have much to say
Well,
about
what would you pick
garbage
as your
this
next
episode.
worst if you had to pick another worst one?
Oh, it would be stupid ass for the uniform, where they absolutely disgrace the character of Cisco. Absolutely disgusting what they do to Mr. Genocide Boy. You know, no, so much bad in this season.
Ties of
Yeah.
blood and water.
So for the uniform, you gave it
Yeah.
D. So you give that an F, probably then, right?
You want to? I mean, you can revise it to an F if you
Yeah,
want.
it's
I
like
don't.
revise
Well,
it
show me,
an F, yeah.
well, show me what I got. What do I have?
Well, you had it.
Empok Nor.
You had it as a
Empok
1.
Nor.
Good as
Oh,
a D.
Nor, I got a D.
So you had your
Where are
zeros
my
were
Fs? Where are my Fs?
right
Oh, you
here.
got zeros. I thought there were Fs.
0. Yeah, zeros. The F's are 0. Yep.
I got a lot of zeros. Huh?
You got a lot of zeros. Yeah. Things past, looking for love in all the wrong places. Children in Time, you mentioned. Ties of
one
blood
is
and water.
One is a D.
1 is a D. Yep.
Okay, why can't you just have the letter? Oh, I see.
Well, because then I average it. Yeah.
Oh,
So
That's
I
the way
average it.
the university
Like the
grading
GPA,
system
it's a
works
G.8
because you're trying to
GPA.
work toward a GPA of
I understand.
4.0.
I got you. So now that I know. So let's see. Crapture, Darkness and the Light for the freaking uniform. I don't know why it has a 1. Well, maybe it could be an F.
Well, you can change it. You can
Nah,
make it an
it's
F.
fine.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Love you, Clobby.
They're all dribble filth.
Teachers can revise their
really
grades at any time,
poo-poo.
right? Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. Long as, how many of these 1 or belows do I have, just out of curiosity?
Okay, well, let's check here. So we've got 0s to 1s. So you've got 11.
What's a
D's and
1.7?
below.
Is that a C?
C minus.
C minus. Okay, so how many do I have? 1 and
11.
below? D and below?
11. 11.
Jesus God Almighty! Look how many C minuses I have. Keep going.
Yeah,
Let's
let's see.
see.
Minus is 1, 2,
When do I
3,
get to
4,
episodes that are positive reviews?
6. Well, here I'll resort it or highlight it. 1.7s.
How many do I have
You've got-
above a C?
17 C minus or below.
All
So,
the bombs.
The good ones,
Mhm.
the
Or
good
at least
episodes,
a high
C
rated.
pluses are better. You've got
Shit.
9. Call to Arms, The Begotten, Dr. Bashir, Presumed, Soldiers of the Empire, The Ascent, By Inferno's Light, Purgatory
What's two-
Shadow,
What's
Apocalypse
2.7?
Rising. That's a C plus.
Okay. Oh,
So B's are above. You've got 4 episodes: By Inferno's Light and Purgatory's Shadow, Apocalypse Rising,
I'm
and Trials and
worse, right?
Tribulations.
how
Probably,
many-
yeah.
So wait a minute. What's a 5? What's a 3? Is that a B?
That's a B. So if you're a B
So what's a
student, you'd have
4?
a 3.
Is that a
A
4?
student, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I have 2 A's in the whole damn season. A and an A plus.
Yep.
Jesus God Almighty, that's bad.
Yeah.
This
well,
season may be
I
the
mean,
worst season.
I mean, if I
This
came
is the
home from
worst
school,
season.
if I came
Right.
home from school and I had, all C's, and it wasn't in a really tough class, I mean, I'm getting my
How could you ever
butt
have a
proverbially
C?
whooped. No,
Wow.
C. I mean, if you get a C, you're in big trouble.
C for
Yeah.
cat.
Big trouble, unless you're taking like an honors, algebra
Mine
6
were usually
course or
incomplete,
something.
so Admiral Teague.
Admiral Teak, good evening.
Hey
And
there,
Eric K
Admiral.
says Raquel changed her for the uniform to an F after hearing our arguments for it to change it. And he
happened?
directed that toward Clubby. Eric, you are correct. I
What
heard
happened?
your arguments and I concurred. It was
What?
time to
When-
change those grades.
When
F
was
you
that?
get.
When did that happen?
Oh, it
Oh,
happened.
that's right. You lowered your grade midstream.
I did.
Okay.
I did
Okay.
because the boys were like, okay, what about this? And then I was like, wow, this is good rhetoric. I need to change my grade. And so Clubby said, you can change your grade. So I was like, that's it. You fail. F you.
It didn't matter, Drop Bear. You exist. That's all that matters. I don't exist, however. So I don't
He
know.
existed, but he didn't exist.
We're changing for
What
the
you just
uniform
said
to a
didn't
0.
exist. What you said, you didn't actually say it, so it doesn't. Your words.
Well,
right
I
there
wasn't
do not
here
exist.
because I don't exist.
You don't exist either,
I existed.
but
But
you
I-
don't anymore. You
Yeah,
never actually existed.
exactly.
Look at that, DG. So at this point, I'm not sure I'm here, and I'm not sure Clobbering Times exists, but then I'm here, and Clobbering Times did not. It's sort of like, now listen to me carefully, Norman. I am lying. Oh man, I think you exist, ED. I'm just not so sure about me. But we won't, I can neither confirm nor deny. Okay, so yeah, that's it. We'll get on to rating the season.
Yep. Okay, boss.
Go for it. Number one, what is your rating of? Oh, wait. We got our friends in the chat that have some things for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get their worst if we got any worse. I'm sorry, everybody.
Oh, and just for reference, Raquel only had 2 episodes that were B or higher.
Only 2. Wow.
Like Apocalypse Rising and Trials and Tribulations.
Even worse than me, almost.
This is the worst season.
And I had
isn't
4.
it?
I had 4. I had 4.
You didn't have any too great either, is it?
Dr. Bashir, I presume, and
Wow.
Purgatory Shadow.
And what's weird is that you make so many excuses and you're so generous, and even you were like, I ain't touching this poop with a 10-foot pole.
Sucks.
Yeah.
Okay, so Shooter said, The Ugly, Children of Slime, Things Asked, Let he who is without wieners do whatever, and looking for poopy crap in all the wrong places up their ass.
Wow.
The ties of blood and water all over your face and your. Okay.
Wonderful.
Shooter.
Beautiful list, Shooter. Shooter,
Indeed.
that is a beautiful list.
Shooter said, what? Oh, I said overall rating. Sorry. Bad. For Pleasant Valley Picker says, looking for Parmok in all the wrong places. Let he was without sin, Rapture, and many others. Well, too many others, buddy. I hear you. Simply Steve had some bad. His good one was top 2 good. Blaze of Glory. Okay, you like that? Okay. Bad. Children of Slime.
Yep.
Raspberries and stuff. Okay. Shooter also wrote, well, DS9 isn't true to Gene Roddenberry vision. I still love it, warts and all. But I am seeing the bad in the series more now. I'm not going to put it in the bin as it is enjoyable to watch. Yeah, don't let us destroy your. We don't. I wouldn't like to think we're raining on somebody's parade, or peeing in somebody's cornflakes or anything. But we're just trying to be honest. But
Shooter, just imagine how many times I've watched DS9.
It's still watchable. Yeah,
I still watch it.
J.T. Kirk says, the bad, let he who was without sin cast the first phaser type. Type 3. Oh, phaser type 3 blast. Gotcha. 2, the begotten choo-choo hoo-hoo boogaloo. And the children shall lead a time if they existed or even if they never existed.
Oh, take a bow, honey. And the children will lead time. Take a bow, J.T. Kirk. That was a gooder. Come on, that was a gooder.
Nice job.
Stephen, here we go. Kellel said, worst 5 episodes of the season. Says rating best to worst. 5, looking for Parmok in all the wrong places. Let he who is without sin at number 4. 3, Ferengi Love Songs, just an old Ferengi love song. Number 2, Impact Norber. And number 1, Children of Time. Gotcha. And Enigmatic Drop Bear says, coming up with a worst for this season was really tough, but my numbers bestow the title on Looking for Parmok. This fragment from my review sums it up. Weird, unbelievable, and ridiculous. Yes. Yes, indeed,
Just
yesness.
stellar work. Just stellar work.
Now, anybody who wants to put their rating for the overall season, please go. Feel free to have it. I'll store it when I see it. And we will now start on that segment. Number 1. Give us your overall rating of season 5 of Star Trek Deep Space Nine and any words you may have to accompany.
Well, let's be honest. I failed this season. This season sucks. But this season did give us trials and tribulations.
It did.
Tribulations, sorry. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to I'm actually going to fail this season. I would like this season to repeat this class. There will be no refund, and it will be held against the GPA. So this will be a matter on a permanent record, but I will be submitting trials and tribulations for an academic reward, failing the entire season. This is an F.
Well, oh, by the way, the Tetrarch of Apathy, the Tetrarch of Apathy is here. Hey there.
Damn.
Good to see you. Welcome.
He's got an interesting point there, yep.
So what he says.
So the actors were reportedly put in heavier, greasy 60s makeup to recapture the original look in Trials and Tribulations.
Yeah. Ah, there you go.
Well, they did do a great job of making everyone look like they were from that era. So, in costumes and makeup, yeah, it was fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Raquel's average for the season was a 1.35. Where, yeah, as Chris Berger said, you don't want to be a doctor who has a 1.35 average, which is a D+, which is technically passing. But in most schools, if that's your major, you've got to retake that class. You got to get a C or better. They're not letting you move on with a D+.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's just the kind of teacher I am. You have to retake this class because this is a required class. So you won't be taking other options to avoid taking this class again. You must retake this class. You get an F.
Yeah, I mean, if it's basket weaving, yeah, you don't need it for your engineering major. Okay, you got a D+, we'll let you skate. But yeah, if it's thermodynamics, or solid mechanics, you get a D+. They're not letting you through the school.
And the thing is that this was a team of writers, often making no claim to science fiction whatsoever, making a claim to drama, and yet still failing to make good drama.
Writing my committee.
Yeah. This was a team of a team sitting in a room pooping their own pants and then smiling at one another at what a wonderful thing they did by crapping their own pants with each other.
Yep.
They might have even have held hands in a circle and sang Kumbaya while they crapped their pants.
Sure they did.
Yeah, we still love the characters. That's the paradox. But I guess the other seasons and
I mean,
they
also
need
you
to
know,
close
some
off.
gems there. Yep.
But
Good night, Tetrarch. Good to see you.
Good night.
Thank you for those. Thank you for the trivia. Yep.
Just imagine them all,
crap.
and Ronald D. Moore like standing in the middle of them. Kumbaya, my lord. Kumbaya.
You're killing me.
Kumbaya, my lord.
Oh.
Kumbaya.
Wow. Somewhere out there, Robert Lee Moore is like, it's getting back to him that this show, that somebody, we're on here 30 years later, trashing
Oh my
the
God,
show.
trashing the show. Yeah.
All right, Marky, what is
Well, my rating.
next?
you're not have to retake the class 2 because you got a 1.98. Although you could, maybe round up and just squeak by. I guess it was a little kinder, and a few of the episodes I liked, even though I did have quite a few D's and F's.
So you know which
This-
teacher to choose next semester when you
Yeah,
have to
choose
retake
me,
this
choose
class.
Mark. Yeah, if we round up, yeah. It's like my mom was saying today. She had in college, the teacher could give her. She got a B on the final, and the teacher had a choice between a C- and a D+. And they gave her a D+, which wrecked her in college. But it's another story. But things turned out for the best anyway. But yeah. So this is a really just horrible season. Of course, it's leading up to the Dominion War, which I don't
It's all
particularly
war now, folks.
like in terms of Star Trek, but some people do love that and like that. We do get some great character moments. Not preferring that in my Star Trek. So yeah, the seasons. God, what did we give last season? Just to compare, season
I don't
4.
remember. Do you know?
I gave it a 2.8, so like almost a B, and season 3 was a
can't remember what I gave
2.6,
it.
so C+. Yeah, I don't know if I did you guys, but you guys are probably pretty close.
I think
2.46.
What did I give season 1? I think I gave
Season
season
one.
1 like a really good grade. I gave
B.
season 2 a C-. I gave season 1
Yeah.
a B.
No, season 1 you have 3. Oh, that's me, 3.1. I might not have done all the ratings back
Yeah,
then with
and
all
then
you guys.
season 2 I gave a C-. Season 3 I gave a B-.
Okay,
That's
that's what I have almost. Yeah.
Season 4,
I gave a C+ to season 4.
I gave it a
Okay.
C-. And
Yeah,
season
so
5
nothing
is
great.
an F.
Yeah, so I mean, you're not. It's not like A, B, B+. This overall, the show is not holding up well. And I've said that to Clobbering times a bunch of times when we're talking, after shows and things that.
I
I'm
ruin
really-
everything for everyone, and I do.
No, but I'm
apologize.
not. No, it's not you. It's just you watch
Ain't
it again
you.
in order. Is a big difference between watching it in order and watching.
And then
Trials
you have to think
Tribulations
about
or
it and put your thoughts and review it.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's different from just watching it.
Yeah.
You go, that was because if you're binging it, you watch 3 or 4 in a row.
yeah.
Little things won't bug you as much, and you'll think, it's a good show because these characters are good and they have a lot of
Actors are
good
good.
things in it, and the actors are good, and we like them. But if you have to break it down the episodes that you watch each week and talk about it and review it, you're going to pick something apart.
Grade it, right? And grade it.
Yeah, you have to. And
the way it is.
yeah.
It's a lot
It's-
different way of watching things. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was. It's just not holding up as well as I remembered it. And I remember back then,
Me either.
people really enjoying the more DS9 went on. People saying, "Oh, you got to watch it again.
People
It's
think
getting
the best,
better."
yeah. People love it.
And today, people say it's the best. But if you do think that, hey, God bless
I
you.
know something
Yeah,
that
glad-
holds up.
yeah.
The original series holds up
Always.
like
Yeah.
a rock solid, and I mean the best of those
Never
episodes
fails.
don't.
The worst of those
They
don't
do
even
not-
fail.
Exactly. The best of them, the medium range of them, the worst of them, they stay rocks. They're solid. They don't change and they don't wear out. Whereas TNG, sometimes even that's even. You know what? I'm gonna start defending. I thought we had a rocky time through TNG. Now I'm starting to think, at least when they had a good one, they had a really good one. Sometimes, I don't know.
Season 3,
Because
season
at least
4,
I guess
yeah.
because that was inside the Star Trek boundaries, and this isn't. That also was part of it. But
Yeah.
this show, I mean, I just remember when I finally watched it all around 2016, sat and watched them all instead of bits and pieces here and there. I really enjoyed the ride of watching it. When you're watching it as a ride, it's different from when you're now breaking the pieces and reviewing it individual episodes. So it doesn't, it's you break off one piece and the other piece breaks off. But anyway, so what did you give it?
Well, I gave it, so I guess that's a 2.0. That's a C, and that's hey, he might consider me a kind grader, but that's pretty bad for a show that quote unquote. I'm a huge, massive Star Trek fan, and then to say, oh, it's just a C. That's pretty bad. So
Look, I don't know what mine comes out to on there.
1.61, which is a D, between a D plus, C minus.
Well, because I got it, I'm saying whatever. I'm contradicting that when I'm saying D minus. This episode, and that's only because the only key that keeps the season from being an F is Trials and Tribulations. The other okay ones, though, they may mitigate a slight amount, but Trials and Tribulations is just too wonderful to be in an F season. But yeah. So Michael Beacom, thank you so much. He says for the $5 super chat, he says for a show called Deep Space Nine, they spent a lot of time on other planets or the Defiant this season. Wondering if that is cause and effect of decline. I don't know.
And the other thing they got into this show that I didn't like is the religious aspects too, with
it's
Yeah.
soap opera,
founders
it's
and-
religion, it's politics. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just didn't like, it's okay to deal with religion, occasionally. You've had some TOS episodes that obviously dealt with it, or you had the allegory of religion.
Here, Cisco is literally the Messiah. He's literally Jesus.
Yeah.
True.
So
that
for me, I'm
turned you off, yeah.
disgusted and cringe. I would rather rub wool on my teeth and chew tinfoil than endure the disgusting grody to the max, man. Romantic, pubescent romantic relationships that go on. And the gross face swallowing and just, like just add some like sound effects to it. It's just terrible. Like,
yeah.
You're worried. Like, are you killing that person? Are you performing CPR? Is that person dying? Please close your mouth. Close your mouth.
Yeah, like the
so
Apple. I'm
much
thinking
of
of
it.
I'm thinking of like TOS, maybe like the Apple, that episode where the inhabitants, they're worshiping that machine as a god. That could be
Vol.
I don't think it was direct Vol, but you could take that as an allegory maybe for religion, but I don't think directly it is. But you could maybe interpret it that way.
Well,
but,
for me, that's more kind of like aliens can show up and they can use a power to bring lesser species under control, and in the end, they learn that they have more value than just throwing fruit in a hole. So I think that one's also more about how technology can bring an entire species to imprison them and control them so utterly that they cannot be edified. They can't grow. They can't self-actualize. So for me, that one's less about the God and more about how technology can be viewed as the God, and that can be really dangerous.
Yeah, the parallels I was thinking of in terms of technology, the founders and the having the spheres and the orbs and
I totally agree. I mean, like, I was talking about the Apple.
Yeah. But I'm saying that Apple, to me, I can kind of sometimes see a little corollary there between, a broad strokes there.
Yeah, for me, it's not in the Apple, but for me in this one, I totally feel you, and I think a lot of the time, it is extremely disrespectful and weird.
Yeah, but that's how TOS handles it correctly.
Well,
versus DS9, yeah.
Yeah, DS9, I don't like it. It makes me feel very uncomfortable. And you all know what I said. I share the exact same views as Gene Roddenberry, what he told Humanist Magazine right before he died, that he fought with everyone and had some pretty vicious battles with Michael Pillar about not insulting people about religion, about not getting into religion because it's hurtful to people.
Stay away from it, yeah.
And that Gene believed that you draw more bees with honey, and giving people incentive to engage with the show and to engage with the rhetoric in that show and then make up their own minds. And the fact that Gene wanted people doing that, and that, in the interview, he said out loud, and it was taken down, If you turn even a single person away, you've not done your job. You should be engrossing enough that people want to get into your show and watch it. You're not there to insult people and make people, hate you or not want to watch your show. You're there to inspire them to watch the show
Yeah.
and engage with the materials. So that's my opinion, same as Gene Roddenberry's opinion.
Well, let's get some speed in these legs.
Yep.
Okay, boss. Sorry, boss.
No. That's all. I'm just saying this. We've been here a while. We've been keeping everybody a while. So I don't care, but I think we've been on here for like 323. So.
But we do have a member chat if you want to read that.
Yeah, I see it. Thank you. Admiral T says, "Is DS9 best Star Trek show a Mandela effect?" I don't know, because to me it's not the best Star Trek show, and anyone who says it's entitled to their opinion, it's their favorite. But I don't know. I think it's just an opinion. I mean, if some people, I think it's simply, Admiral. I would say it's just some people like the drama, the soap opera, the war stuff. They don't really. Not everybody sits around and goes, wow, I love Star Trek because of what Gene Roddenberry wanted to teach me. I'm sorry. I've come to this conclusion more and more over the past, even the past few months, considering what people will buy as Star Trek. And the fact, over the past couple of years, how many times people have told me, yeah, DS9 is way my favorite. I've heard people say, and everyone is, of course, certainly entitled to that. But the fact that there are a lot of people that I don't think Roddenberry vision is their first priority of all Star Trek fans. Even people even people who won't have higher standards when it comes to the filth. Some of them will pick other Star Trek that doesn't necessarily always follow Roddenberry. That's just the way it is. So I don't think it's the Mandela effect. Some people just like that kind of. They're more intrigued and more get more involved with these long space opera, soap opera stories and war stories, and they would rather see that. They're not bothered or concerned by Berman and Moore and these guys, admittedly just bucking what Roddenberry wanted to do and dismissing Roddenberry the way they have. They don't care. I'm not insulting anybody here. I'm saying a lot of people don't care about that much. They would rather see a deeply involved type of space opera saga like that than watch the episodic exploring of space and the future in Roddenberry's vision, the science fiction vision of his. Some people, it just doesn't mean as much to them as if they get this kind of high drama that they get from Deep Space Nine. And that's just my belief. Not everybody wants the same things from all of Star Trek, clearly.
You think there could be some groupthink involved in it? Not don't want to, insult anyone either, but that kind of becomes like a wave of everyone just starts saying it and everyone joins that, that wave. And yeah, DS9 is the best Trek there is. And just wondering,
Well, humans want to
guys
fit in, right? That's what humans want to do. That's why we use communication. We use it to relate to one another and with one another. And people want to fit in. The vast majority of people really want to fit in, and they want to find things. They want to find commonality. They want to bond and enjoy one another's company. And then there are people like me.
Yeah.
Of course, it could be what series you watch first, too, right? If you grew up with DS9.
Yeah. No, that's true. Sure.
Yeah, but I also think that I also think that introverts are more attuned, and that they have more practice in saying what they in saying what they actually think. I think that if you're extroverted and you really love people, you don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, or you're somebody who really loves people, and their attitudes and their thoughts and feelings become infectious to you, and you just want to be a part of that. I don't think there's any any harm in that. By and large, I mean, obviously it can become dangerous, but by and large, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But introverts, I think, we're not into that. I just think that we think what we think based on evidence, based on facts and evidence, regardless of who is in the room with us. And we're not interested in saying things to impress. We're actually more interested in very intimate scenarios with really like thoughtful and amazing people, so that you can, you know, talk about things and figure out what you think and stuff. But do I think that there's an element of people wanting to increase their branding and people following them on the internet and having this sort of, oh yes, I'm a part of that too? Oh, Mark, I'm a social scientist, and I definitely think that there is a great deal of that going on. When I finished my master's, I really thought about doing my doctorate about the nostalgia epidemic and how the attention economy feeds the nostalgia epidemic. So yeah, I definitely think it's infectious, and I think there are digital tribes that are you know, stoking the flames of that. Sorry for the mixed metaphors, everyone. It's getting late.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, anyway.
Interesting. Yep.
Shooter says overall C plus. Was he? It's his overall, whereas Kal-El's overall rating B plus. A good season overall with some strong episodes, but the bad episodes drag down the overall score significantly. I hear you there, buddy. B minus for overall rating for Pleasant Valley Picker. Alrighty. Simply Steve said revision overall rating still C minus, but Trials and Tribulations top one, not Blaze of Glory, Children of Time, worst. I apologize. Unless you actually made those episodes, no apologies necessary. If you did, though, exist and then stopped existing, and then you made that episode, and now you don't exist, you do owe us an apology, if you, Steve. He also
Steve,
said,
you're a sweetheart.
Season of Raspberries,
Yeah.
5 rating, D minus overall. Revised top best was Trials and Tribulations, and worst was Children of Doctor Who-niverse. Yes.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. Wow. Children of Time. Yeah. That very similar title to the Timeless Child garbage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kal-El says overall rating. Did I do this one already? Oh, I did. Oh, okay. No, I did that one. Oh, I thought I got rid of it. All right. JT Kirk said season 5 rating. Second Shap out of 5. This one only makes it past the hopscotch stage because of TNT, which could be TNT, which could be season 3 through 6. Too much RDM and not enough Roddenberry. Okay, yeah, I hear you, buddy.
Oh, what a great thing to say.
Indeed. Michael Beacom says season rating is D. Some very few high marks diluted by many bad ones. In hindsight, I am wondering how much Voyager leached off talent and energy. I hear you. Lisa says summation A+++, Clobby RM, and Mark, very fun. Oh, A+++, Saturday Night Star Trek. Oh, you're too kind. Deep Space
We love
Nine
you,
season
honey.
Deep Space Nine. We love you, Lisa. Thank you so much. Deep Space Nine season 5, D. Raspberries and shin kicks for it. Love you. Love you. Thank you so much. Appreciate you there.
Wonderful.
Lisa. Thank you, Lisa. Always have been the digits can function smoothly without one thumb, 4 digits. All right. Well, with that, let us start moseying out the door. How about that? And saying our goodbyes. First, I will ask, before I do show notes, I will ask our wonderful first officer for any closing words you may have.
Well, first thing I want to say is that there are way too many people in this room for me to name you all off and to cheer you all on. I'll let the boss do that. But I just want to take this opportunity to say that I read each and every single comment made by every single person who was in this room tonight. And sometimes that makes me sound like a dingbat on air because you're reading and you're thinking, and then there are all these different conversations going on. But I just want to say that because I want you to know how much I appreciate your conversation. And some of you are, well, all of you are amazing conversationalists, and your willingness to come here and to put your thoughts out there and engage in such a beautiful way is astonishing to me. And I appreciate it more than I can possibly articulate, especially with my brain going dim after 3.5 hours. But I do love you all very much. I think it's just terrific that we get to meet every Saturday. Thank you, everyone, for all the marvelous things you said, for the laughs, for all of it, every single one of you. I want to thank the Wrenches. Guys, I love you very much. Thank you very much. I want to thank Mark D with a C for just being such a good friend to this channel, to me, to Clobby, to everyone in the chat. He's a hell of a guy. Make sure that you follow him and support his work. He's a very, very sweet person and a very, very loyal friend. Good friend, smart, funny, cool guy. And I mean, last but certainly not least, I have to thank my captain and possibly one of the best friends, absolutely one of the best friends I've ever had in my life. I absolutely love you, Clobby. None of us would know each other if it weren't for you. You are the reason why we all come together every Saturday to talk about this fun stuff. You are the grand poobah of all of geekdom. You are a class act. You are a genius geek, and we adore you. Thank you for making this space for us. And that's all I have to say, everyone. Oh, and please buy my book. And if you buy my book, please leave a review on Amazon. And that's it.
Absolutely. By the way, hello, Alaric Harrison. Thanks for being here. And Zacharot, good to see you. Zacharot says it's not showing that we're live. I guess I'm getting ghosted. It shows why we don't have a lot of people watching tonight. Apparently.
That's what I was saying, boss. I think we're being throttled again because of this weird stuff happens.
Yeah. Well, do we exceed warp 9.9 again? Are they setting us back to warp 5? Come on.
Well,
not supposed to do that.
Any final words, Chief Engineer? Thank you, number one, for that.
Sure. Always a pleasure to join you guys on these shows. When I started watching this, when did this show start? What was the date?
It started in 2020, but I mean, as far as the review show, Saturday Night Star Trek review. That started in January of 2021. But anyway. Good.
Yeah, but so it's been well, math is hard, but 2+ years we've been hanging out here, and I'm tired now too. A long day, but no, it's just when I first started, I was just so enthralled to see intelligent Star Trek discussion. So it's it's just fantastic to be talking to you guys on the show right now. That's what I'm trying to get at with my sentiment.
I knew that you were a cool guy. I have to interrupt, but I'm going to be really fast. I knew you were a cool guy when you sent me a peer-reviewed academic paper on whether or not Lucille Ball actually had an effect on the production schedule of Star Trek proper. And it was an entire manuscript based on the timeline, what could be verified and what was rumor. That's when I was like, later on when I got to talk to Clobby, I was like, Clobby, you wouldn't believe what this guy sent me. This Mark D with a C guy. He's pretty cool. Anyway,
he knows how to get a professor on the good side with the quotations.
Impressed. I read that thing immediately.
Yeah, that was right up your alley. Yeah, and I love that stuff too, obviously. Yeah, but it's just such a pleasure to hang out with you, and everyone in the chat is so awesome here tonight too. So it's a real great Star Trek family we have. So make sure you go buy Raquel's book, and I also. Hit 600 subs thanks to you and Raquel and Clobby and everyone in the chat, so it's just fun to always hit those milestones. And so I did start a Patreon, so one of the items,
whoa,
so you can get a Doomsday mug. So that's one. I mean, that's one of the.
I'll let you do that. I don't know what you want.
Yeah, you could. Yeah. So that was which is pretty cool. So you can do the wraparound of the. I did a Photoshop photo of it. And you can do a mug on that.
No, everyone in the chat, that's not a Photoshop photo of that. I'd like to clarify. He's just tired. He doesn't know what he's saying. That is a photograph he took of a little model that he did, and that Doomsday machine he made. So when he says that he photoshopped it, he's saying that
I put the background
image that he took. That Mark made this. Mark made this made this. That's how talented he is. Anyway, sorry, Mark. I just didn't want anyone
that's
to think
okay.
that like
Oh,
you
yeah, yeah.
photoshopped a picture.
Yeah, well, that's what I was trying to say. Yeah, I made put the
Sorry.
space background on, yeah, and it took the wires out. Yeah, that kind of thing. So I did start a Patreon. You know, if anyone wants to get some swag or some things and offer some 3D prints
Cool.
and things, it's a fun way to you know interact and maybe give out some swag too. But much appreciate everyone who's just hanging out and talking to everyone here. Has just been so much fun. So and looking forward to Sunday Night Geekery tomorrow night. So thanks again, everyone.
Yep. Excellent. I'll be there with you, hanging out
Yep.
with you Sunday Night Geekery. 10 p.m. Central. Excuse me, 10 p.m.
Yep.
Eastern. Everybody.
Yep.
Okay, so listen here. In addition to that, Monday night Mark C Comics Talk. I will have the great Stone Loki, maybe even 24/7 Fusion Media, join me for a DC animation review. The animated film Justice League Crisis on Two Earths. We will review that. And then, of course, the usual shows throughout the week. I'm on Midnight Jets Tuesdays and Thursday nights with Tom and that August gang there at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Central on Wednesday nights with Loki and the gang for the Comic Book Roundtable. And, of course, Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. Central for my Wild Card Wednesday night, and Thursday nights the Clubhouse is open with Mark and Raquel, of course, with me, hanging out with me. And what fun we have there. Also with Nick and the gang on Friday night Comics Talk at 8:30. But next week on Saturday night Star Trek, we begin season 6 reviews of Star Trek Deep Space Nine. We'll see what happens. Indeed.
Yeah.
Yep. So, and then of course Monday, a week from this Monday, actually, I'll be counting down my top 25 all-time favorite episodes of Justice League / Justice League Unlimited, the great cartoon classic featuring the Justice League on Monday night Mark C Comics Talk in the future.
Admiral Teague, if you wanted to use that Doomsday Machine art, you could do one better. You know what you could do? You could order a Doomsday from Mark. Order a Doomsday. Dun-dum, dun-dum.
Just don't want to make too many. The galaxy might be imperiled, but maybe a few thousand right now. Just kidding.
Did we have some 2 memberships? Did you say?
No, I just said. I think Raquel was saying if people could order the Doomsday Machine, if you get in touch with me.
I got a message saying I have 2 memberships.
Oh, nice!
Oh, nice! Yeah,
Ooh,
didn't come up on the screen yet. Didn't come up on the screen yet, though.
I thought that was
sometimes there's a delay. Oh, I sent that a while ago. There was a that was earlier. There was a member message.
No. That's from my. Yeah, this is something else. That's from my Baxter Building basement page. Okay. Anyway, all right. Well, everybody, that's that. Let me just again let's do some shout outs and we'll get out of here because we like to shout out our friends when they show up and when they're gone. Even if they're not here, everybody gets it, of course. Starting with our fantastic wrenches. The great Derek K, the bronze wrencher, thank you, buddy, and the puppy Kirby. The great Chris Persia, the vindicator wrench of the North. D. Bud Martin, the wrench of iron. Lord Thoth and Lady Thoth Avon lives long, live the Legion. There's your little puppy. My partner in crime on Earth B. J Man, the great wrench without fear. Our good buddy Hungry Boy, the master of the Claboni and Clobber Times artist and cover artist for Science Fiction Tales by the great R.M. Briggs. Kal-El, Buddy, the Super Wrench, Wielder of Reach Mjolnir, Thor from Vegas, Maddie's Daddy, and of course, Fanty Outsidey. And let's see, whom else are we saying goodbye to tonight? We shout out to our wonderful friend Jill. She could not make it, but we'll shout her because we love her, Jill. And let's see here. All right. Shooter, thanks for being here tonight, buddy. Appreciate you. Simply Steve, my friends, good to see you. Thanks for being here with us. Classic Comics, CC, thank you. Stuart Mitchell, Raymond Feliciano, Linrod, Larry, JT Kirk, Lovely Lisa, the great Max Redstone, Master of the Limerick, thank you, buddy. The wonderful Sandra Feliciano, Yaworski pool practice popped in. Yeah, and always an honor. The great Captain James T. Skywalker. Wolfie. Cynical Himscuba Pete. John Rupus Shaggy. Sean Carter of Mars. Enigmatic Drop Bear. Thank you, ED. Zathras. Masters. Maniac Mexico. MMM. I hope you're hanging in there and doing well, buddy. Herc. 130. Ooby Dooby. Keita Chow, roll that tide. Mr. Angel, be well, chef. Rob Altus, he said you're going out of the country for a while, buddy, but have a great trip and keep in touch, my friend. Grimdark, thank you. Pleasant Valley Picker, thank you, buddy. Cavaccino, Cavaliman Shea, Ayo, your Muslim uncle, thank you so much. SP4H1, I always get that messed up. Sorry about that. Cardinal Sin, Gil, thank you, buddy. Dave G Sound, DJ Ronnie G, Midnight's Oblivion, David Rayborn, Cuz, Ezra Goldstein, Shalom, Wendy, Drama Warrior, Then Hell Jimmy, Claude Saling, Warrior of Justice, DVB, Michael Beacom, and shout out to the wonderful Cassandra. Admiral T, good to see you, buddy. Thank you for popping in. The Tetrarch of Apathy, Alaric Harrelson, and Zacharot, buddy. And I believe I got everybody. I hope I didn't miss anyone. But let me check to make sure before we get. Okie dokie. I think we got everybody. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. What a great show. What a great time I've had tonight. As always, you all make it so fun for us. We really appreciate you. We love you all, my good friends. Have a fantastic remainder of your weekend. And clobber on and trek on, clobberers.
Clobber animal!
What did you say? Did you say?
Clobber animal!
Good night, everybody. Trek on. By the way, if I missed you, sorry about that, Lynn Rod. I didn't see. I think I got you. Sorry, but I wanted to say shout out to anyone who was lurking and anyone watching on a rewatch. We really appreciate you. I forget to shout it out sometimes because I'm old and senile, but we thank you so much. Have a wonderful weekend, folks. Take care. See you next week. Happy birthday, William Shatner!